All right, welcome back to another episode of The Couch Show. If you're new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're Sibling Rivalry. I'm Lynn.
I'm Ray. I was gonna say I'm a Muppet.
I can't point that way. I got to do it this hand. There we go.
We were talking about
That's
Muppets
Ray.
before we came on board.
He's practicing his Muppet face.
Yeah, I
All
was. I had the light, and I was going. Let me do it. I had the light like this. I had the light like this. You
right,
don't
we
even
have
know
to
who's in
check
here.
our audio. Can you jump on another
Like a
device? Do you
Muppet.
have your iPad next to you?
Oh yeah. Let me check my device. I'm gonna see my Muppet face when I jump on.
Yeah.
Let me jump. Oh, yep, we're live.
All right. Well, if you're new to the channel,
All right,
welcome.
and make sure you're coming through.
We are siblings, Ray and I. That's Ray. I'm Lynn. And we're givers. We're givers of
All right, cool.
love, givers of good vibes, and givers of strength through conversation. Anything
Yes,
you want to discuss, this is your platform. Let's talk about it.
power of positivity. So I was late last night. Once again, I couldn't sleep. I don't know why. I think I'm turning into a night owl. I guess I should just like stay up at night, be productive, and sleep during the day. I don't
Okay.
know. But last night I was going through, doing some maintenance work. So I was going through like our Gmail, making sure we didn't get any like emails,
Uh-huh.
right? And we did. We got a strike, not a strike, but I think we got a warning from YouTube.
Really? Oh my God. I
Yeah.
wonder what. I wonder why.
Hey, good morning, Fuzz. Fuzz is a
The
soldier. That's why I have to
Thursday
salute because he's
show.
always he's always there. He's always there, right on point. Thank you, Fuzz. Thank you for the love. He believes in our message. He believes in the power of positivity. So yes, I was doing maintenance, and we got struck by YouTube.
Hmm.
They said we were being fraudulent,
We were being what?
fraudulent, misleading, fraudulent. I was like, what? Yeah, they're coming for us.
Really?
Yeah, they're coming for us already. I told you they were gonna come
That's
for us.
crazy.
They don't like what we're saying. They don't like our
Mhm.
message. They don't. Like what? Be
Hmm.
positive? Like, look, yeah, okay, we talk about the issues, but look, we're talking about it in a logical sense. You can't have two sides of the conversation. I
Right.
don't know. It doesn't go against. It went against the narrative, so we're being misleading. They didn't give us a
Mm.
strike though. They took one. They said one of our videos was private, so I don't know which one it was.
Hmm.
Like it's private. It's made private. You couldn't fight it, but we flagged it as being misleading.
Wow. I'm kind of surprised, or I wouldn't be surprised if it's the one where I put all the drops into my drink and I was just
Oh
just
no,
wired the whole time. It was horrible.
no, you could be. You could do that. You could do that on YouTube. It's just having an opinion these days. That if you have an opinion that goes against what their message is, like I said, the message. You go against the message, and they're gonna strike you.
Hmm,
Yeah.
that's insane.
Mm. You know, the memes, you can't say some words or else you'll be flagged. You need to use a special language or Creole. Creole. I, I was like Boomhauser
Which
from
is kind of what we do, with the whole Kofifi and
yeah, we got to twist it up sometimes.
the
They got
Punani,
smarter. Yeah, they probably like flagging it and like know the
Power of the
words already.
Nana, all that
Well,
stuff.
we're gonna talk about evil people today, so we're gonna get
Hmm.
into it. We're gonna talk about it all over the place. So we're gonna have a different opinion. I know I am. I know I'm gonna have a different opinion afterwards. But it's me. You gotta find a new co-host.
There's definitely a darkness in all of us,
Hmm.
but some people just embrace that darkness, man.
Yeah, I know.
They
I
have
know.
no
And it's
conscience. They
scary.
don't care. They
It's
just
scary
ugh
because
out for
I mean,
themselves.
but you know what? We all have that evil tendency inside of us, right? Like they
Hmm.
say, like it's like that when the devil talks to you, he's not talking to you, he's talking in you, right? He's talking
Hmm.
inside of you. We all have the devil inside of us. It's just, it's how much your conscience, right, feeds off of that negativity you're doing. Like if you have
Hmm.
a legit reason to pull one over somebody, right? Like, oh, I gotta get to point A and point B, so I'm gonna scan somebody right now,
Hmm.
right? You see those guys, right? Oh, hey, yo, you got any gas money?
Yeah.
They're not really. They're not looking for gas money. Man, I got suckered so bad. Like we could just this could be the how I got sucker show because I remember I'm a gullible guy. I'm to this day I'm still gullible. There's times
Same.
like I'm analytical and my brain has to figure things out, right? Because I've been trained like that to be analytical. But it's
Hmm.
funny how I could still get pulled over. like pull, like a fast one over. Like I'm still
Right.
gullible, and I'm like, wait a minute. But like when I first got out of boot camp, and whenever you had to travel, the military would send you on Greyhound. So I would be
Mhm.
like, unless it was like going from East Coast to West Coast, then you would fly. But for the most part, if you're going up and down the East Coast, they would put you on a bus for like 14 hours. Like, fuck it, you're on the bus, Greyhound, right?
Mhm.
So I'd be out on like the station out in like Times Square, and there'll be guys coming up, right? And they'll see me with the military bag, that big ass green bag, right? And they're like, "There's a mark." And so they'll come up and they'll be like, "Yo, man, I was in the service. I got out, blah blah. Can I get a couple of dollars? I'm just trying to get to my next location." And sure enough, it was Ray. Yeah, here's a couple of dollars. You know,
Yeah.
it is what it is, right? But then
Mm.
there's some people like they use that manipulation and they take it to like another extreme of evil, right? They take it to
Mhm.
another extreme of evil, and that's what we. I think that's what we got to dive into today. Like we got to call
Yeah.
out that next extreme of evil and be like, anything you want to put out there that you want to take a stand on, I guarantee there's evil people that's going to manipulate that stand,
Right.
that voice, that opinion, that whatever it may be. And like it's sad because you can come out and be like, "Yo, um, I understand your virtues. I understand what you're trying to say, but you're being manipulated by evil people." And people are like, "Oh, no, no, no. Stand by the virtues. How can you don't want to save kids? Oh," stuff like that, right? But
Right.
there's people who's taking advantage of the situation.
And we see that a lot with the different like movements that we've had going on over the last few years. We're seeing,
Yes.
like, yeah, the movement itself, like what it's at least on the outside, what it seems to be raising money for, what it seems to be
Mm-hmm.
standing for is like, it's almost valiant. It's like, all right, yeah, there's somebody taking a stance, they're fighting for what they believe in, but then you start doing research about who's at the top and what they're actually
Right.
doing with the funds, and that's where the evil really comes out.
Mm-hmm. It's like with the whole the summer of 2020, right?
Hmm.
Um, you know, George Floyd was killed, and then right
Hmm.
after people were protesting, right? And when let's say at that time, if you were to speak against it, because I did, I was like, "Yo, there's people rioting. Like, you
Hmm.
guys are okay with people rioting, destroying
Right.
properties? Like, there's yo, you're saying Black Lives Matter, but there's black people getting killed in these riots.
Hmm.
So which lives matter, right?" And so I was like very outspoken by it. But then people were attacking me. They were like, "It's been years of oppression. They need their liberation." And I'm like, "Look, I get that, but there's still evil people. We got to talk about the evil people,
Right.
right? There's people who want to protest and they want to keep it peaceful. I'm not talking about them. Like, look, their message. Listen to their message. It's those other people who decide to pick up a rock and throw it in a window. That's
Hmm.
evil, right? That's
Yeah,
violence.
it's not
That's
helping the
destruction,
cause.
right? It's not helping the
It's just
cause.
it's that group mentality of, crowd mentality when people get together and they feel suddenly like it's almost like
Empowered,
your virtues go out the window.
right?
And you're more willing to do things that you wouldn't normally do. So, people who have this evil inside of them and they want to express themselves in that way, they're
Yup.
able to latch onto these movements and, rally people behind them
Mm-hmm.
and just create chaos.
And it was crazy because like the media put a spin on it. They were like mostly peaceful protests. Yet you see the
Hmm.
coverage and like everything's burning down. I'm like
Right.
peaceful, right? Because they want it. They don't want it. I know the games they're playing, but I'm gonna give them the media in this moment. I'm giving the media the benefit of the doubt. It's like they don't want to take away the voice from the people who are peaceful, right? For
Hmm.
the movement, right? You said they want to make change. Yes, I get it. But those aren't. It's like a small portion of it. We got to talk about the evil people. We got to
Hmm.
talk about the people that are throwing bricks through businesses, black-owned businesses at that. Because that
Yeah.
happened. There was like multi-billion dollars of damages that summer from all these major cities, right? Remember when what was it in Seattle when they held down that one city that they they,
Yeah. It was
they
like a
pushed
whole
everybody out?
quadrant,
Yeah, it was like a whole
you know?
town. They had tents and everything. They're like, "This is our town. This is the free zone." I was like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, this is crazy." I was hoping that was gonna spread because honestly, I was like, "Well, how are they gonna get anything?"
Hmm.
Like these truckers are really like most of the truckers you see out there do not buy into all this like the message, right?
Hmm.
If I got to categorize most truckers, they're right wing, right? They believe in gun control, not gun control, they're gun, uh, gun
Right.
rights, right? They believe
Yeah.
in their rights, right? They're just, yeah, I'm trucking, I'm trying to, like that one guy, what was it, in California who ran through the crowd, right? He was in a truck and he didn't stop. And
Hmm.
then he got in trouble. He was the one in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Not the crowd on the highway. Like who protests in the highway, right? That's
It's
just
freaking
crazy.
crazy.
So he got in trouble. And so I was like seeing these like autonomous zones. I was hoping they would pop up everywhere because then
Hmm.
I think like these people will have more of a mindset where they have to realize that they got to work together. Because at some point they were going to be like, yo, we need food. Food
Hmm.
doesn't just pop up on the shelves, right? Trucks bring them in. And the truckers were like, I'm not going in there. Like, I'm not doing that shift. I'll do the next town over.
Right.
They were like, hell no, man. Hell no.
I mean, at that point, you have to think of your own safety.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
That's why that trucker didn't
I think
stop.
it was really awesome that the truckers up in Canada decided to do their whole protests. You know, when they went on
Hmm.
strike, or they were threatening to go on strike. Did they go on strike?
They did it. No, they did it. They were shutting down Canada. They were on the bridges. They were everywhere. Then
Hmm.
at some point, the protest, there was something where like the Canadian police, they were like on horses and they trampled this elderly old lady and killed her. Like the horse ran over
What the
her.
hell?
Yeah, they were crazy up there. And then
Hmm.
the Canadian like prime minister, I don't know, their version of a president, right? Showing my ignorance on this, he declared like a state of emergency.
Hmm.
And fact check me if I see anything wrong, but that's what I read was like he declared a state of emergency to shut that whole thing down. He was like, "Yo,
Yeah.
they're terrorists." I was like, "Bro, they're protesting. They're protesting against your vax, your vax." Well, instead of backing down from the whole vax thing, he just went full in, calling them a terrorist, and it's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I heard about that because I'm heavily in
Wow.
crypto. Fuzz. Thank you for that. Thank you for reminding me about that because I'm heavily in crypto, and they were like from the get go that they should have been doing all their transaction in Bitcoin, and they were
Hmm.
like they were struggling to try to figure out how they were going to get their money. So don't you, this is a prime example
Wow.
of why you shouldn't trust the banks
Right.
because they got their
Right.
whole all
I
their
mean,
money was
at what
frozen.
point, at what point do we say, oh, it's okay for them to do that, like withhold your money?
Well, when if the state deems you a terrorist, right? State of emergency. You're a terrorist. Take
Oh,
everything,
it's
all their access.
crazy.
Take all the access away to terrorize, right?
Which is ridiculous because, truck drivers, they're our neighbors. They're our husbands. There are,
Mm-hmm.
are there a lot of women drivers? Probably not. But,
No, there
like
are.
those are
Yo,
family
shout out
members.
to the
They're just
women
members
drivers.
of
There's
our
women drivers
community
out there
who
too.
they're doing their part. They're making their living. They're being away from their families for days at a time. Like they're making a sacrifice to help us run our country. And, for them to be labeled as terrorists because they're standing up for their own rights, that's
Mm-hmm.
bullshit. That's bull.
Yeah, no, they were labeled terrorists, and they got their money taken away. GoFundMe. The government was like, "Yo, kill this GoFundMe," because once they
Hmm.
locked up their bank accounts, then they went on to GoFundMe, and the
Hmm.
government was like, "Nah, kill that shit too." So the only thing they started taking at the very end, and this is where I last left off, was they started getting donations in crypto. They were
Okay.
like, "Yo, send us Bitcoin. We
Hmm.
we, we want to keep protesting. We need aid. They took everything away from us. If you guys believe in this cause, send us money in crypto." And they were getting money in crypto.
That's insane.
But here's
That's
the thing with
insane.
crypto.
And honestly, the stories like that should really unify us because, ultimately, like I said, like those are our
Mm-mm.
neighbors. That's our family members that are out there,
Stories
being members
when
of our society.
when you hear stories like that, all it does is
Mm-hmm.
the way people spin it. Oh, not even people. Let's not even say people. The way the media spins it, right? The content creators that are the media, the way they spin it, it ends up just dividing people even more
Right.
because they don't say the full story, right? They don't say, "Hey,
Hmm.
these truckers are standing up against vaccine mandates." No, they're like, "Oh, they put it in a spin that puts just a opinion in your
Hmm.
head and a negative connotation in your head. So now you believe, yeah, they're terrorists. Oh yeah, they deserve all that. Yeah, that's right." It's only people who like look outside and start questioning things like, "Wait a minute, why are they doing this? Oh, overreaching of the government. Yeah, well,
Hmm.
as citizens, we should question our government, right? Our
Right.
government, look, we should not just blindly trust our government. There's been many wars that have been fought because
Hmm.
the government was overreaching. The power to be was overreaching.
Yes.
And at some point, we should question that. I'm telling you, evil people everywhere. You could
Hmm.
trust certain people, but you got to understand that if you give people power, you give people money, you give people just an ounce, they're going to take an inch. Why? Because they're just evil. They have that
Yeah.
evil tendency. Everybody has that evil tendency
And
inside of them.
honestly, they're human too. It's a slippery slope.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you start down that road, it starts snowballing. I'm sure there are people who are making, immoral choices simply because they feel stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because like they're in too deep. They can't get out.
Oh, trust me, and that's why I said it's inside of us. Like if I had to make a decision, and I say this all the time, like if the apocalypse comes, I'm gonna be the guy with loose morals. I just did.
Hmm.
Like I'm gonna be like, look, why should we have you in our encampment? It's because I'll be willing to do things I know you may not.
Yeah.
That's just it, right? I have prior military training, and if you need me to snuff somebody out, I'm gonna snuff somebody out in the apocalypse. Let's just say that in the apocalypse, right? I will do what we have to do. But once again, I'm driven for that. Maybe perspective, maybe it's a different perspective. Maybe the other person's like, oh, why are you doing this to me? I'm just a victim in all this too.
Hmm.
I get it. Like I get it. There's evil people. There's evil inside of us. It's evil inside of you, and there's evil inside of me. We all have that. It's just how do we live with our neighbor, right? How do we live in a community? How do we live in a society, right? How do we put our evil in check and say, look, you know what? Instead of me doing something evil to you, I'm going to do an act of random kindness,
Mm.
and hope that karma, because that's what keeps me in check is karma.
Hmm.
I believe in that shit. I believe in karma. I know a lot of people laugh at that, but I believe in it. And if you want to talk about karma, look at this whole situation with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, right?
Yeah.
Look who was the victim in that and who was the terrorizer in that whole scenario. And it's crazy because like I see the arguments going back and forth and all of this, and it's just crazy that people still don't see that there is evil women, just like there's
Hmm.
evil men. Like it's weird that society has been programmed, and it could be this whole Disney fantasy Cinderella thing that we all see and hear and all this, where we really think that women are everything sugar and spice and everything nice, right?
Right.
Like women can't do anything wrong. They're the victims all the time. It's crazy. It's crazy because there are evil women. Newsflash: there's evil women. There's evil men. There's evil, white people. There's evil black people. There's evil straight people. There's evil gay
Yeah.
people. That's like there's evil everywhere. Let's
Yeah.
acknowledge that, and then
It
then
doesn't
we can
it
have the
doesn't
discussion.
discriminate. It could be anyone that has the evil inside of
Exactly.
them.
Exactly. And then once you start thinking like that, that's when we can have the discussion.
Hmm.
Because remember, um, before the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case came out, let's take a few steps back, right?
Hmm.
What came out before that? That was the whole Me Too movement, right? It was the
Right.
whole Me Too movement, and it was the whole believe all women. That was the hashtag believe all women, right?
Hmm.
And I'm gonna put a warning out there. Warning. I don't want to trigger nobody. Listen, I understand that there are people out there who've been part of domestic violence, right?
Hmm.
Sexual abuse, sexual misconduct. I get that. If you truly went through that, I'm not trying to marginalize you. I'm not trying to take away your voice. Keep doing what you have to do to be heard. Look, I get that. What I'm talking about is the people who are abusing these movements.
Right.
And that's what people are like, wait, no. Believe all women.
Hmm.
Women ain't gonna tell a lie. Why would a woman tell a lie? Why would a woman want to destroy somebody? Why would a woman want to be vindictive? Why would it? No. Believe all of them because they come out and say something. It happened.
Right.
Like really? Because you don't think that they could use the courts on their side, right? Because you're sending this precedence of believing all of them, and they can't use the courts to get what they want, or use
Hmm.
the courts of public opinion to get what they want. Right? When the whole news came out of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard that Johnny Depp was being abusive, right? He got
Hmm.
fired. He got fired from the well, Disney had
They had
what is it?
something. I don't remember what it was, but
Pirates,
he did.
the latest Pirates movie, like Pirates 22 or something, right?
Hmm.
He got canned from it, right? And yet she's still in the new Aquaman movie,
Yeah.
Aquaman 2, right? She's gonna still in there, right?
Hmm.
So just her coming out, like for whatever reason, maybe she just wanted to, she was pissed off at Johnny, right? They got a divorce. She's pissed off at him. She was vindictive. She puts this out there, and now he loses his livelihood.
Hmm.
Like, have you seen Johnny Depp in the movie since then?
Have not.
And he was like, yo, it's Johnny Depp we're talking about. This guy was like in all the movies,
It's
right?
freaking Johnny Depp. Yeah.
Yeah. Edward Scissorhands, man. She canceled Edward Scissorhands. That's crazy.
Mm.
Jack Sparrow. She canceled Jack Sparrow, man. Willy Wonka. Look at all the movies this guy's been. And she canceled
Yeah.
them. Just because she said something, she was empowered by the movement, right?
Hmm.
She said words and everybody believed her. Cancer culture moved in before a trial was put in place, before the facts were out, and everybody believed her, and he got canceled.
Yeah.
So you don't tell me like people are not motivated to say something if they have that kind of power?
I mean, absolutely. That's going to motivate anybody. I mean, I wouldn't say anybody. So you got to watch out. Like I said, it's a slippery slope. You've got to watch out. Like once you make that first like decision, from there things kind of snowball.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not defending her at all. I think it's ridiculous that things came to what they did. This is why I hate about like public figures. Like they're supposed to be like our leaders, they're supposed to have like great morals, and yet they do these like crazy, you know um controversial things.
Mm-hmm.
But anybody who is going through something with a significant other, like relationships are hard
Yes.
and it can be so frustrating. And it takes a toll on your mind, and you lash out in ways that you wouldn't expect yourself to.
Mm-hmm.
So whether she intended for everything to play out the way it did or not, the fact is, like, I feel like the news now is saying like, oh, like how dare us like say that like she wasn't hurt in this way, like that's
Mm-hmm.
invalidating everybody. No, it's not. It absolutely isn't. And it shouldn't be stopping other women from coming forth and like saying, what they have to say about their relationships. It's just one case.
You know what irks me about this whole thing is that people really, really, they haven't acknowledged the fact that people in couples fight and it could get physical, but it could be physical on both ends.
Hmm.
Like a man and a woman, wife, husband can actually fight, put hands on each other, and they're both doing it, and they're both
Hmm.
going in as human beings fighting.
Right.
But yet, when you hear that scenario, right, it's always the woman is the victim. Yeah, she could have initiated it. She could put hands on the man. He's defending
Hmm.
himself. He's like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? You want to go? Let's go. It's like it's just at that moment, it's two people fighting. It doesn't matter what the sex are.
Hmm.
I mean, look, once again, society wants to say we're equal. I don't think we are. We have our differences. We complement each other. We say that all the time. But if you want to say we're equal, then if a woman puts hands on a man should put hands back. He
Right.
should defend himself. At this point, we're
I do. You
equal.
know what? I do agree with that, especially as a mom of boys. Like, I don't want the women beating on my babies, taking advantage of the
Mm-hmm.
fact that like I'm teaching my
My
boys that
babies,
they shouldn't be
my
hitting women.
my
But
boys are smart.
But
My boys are so
like
smart.
men should also have like a reserve, like if a woman's beating on you and you push her off of you, you shouldn't have to beat the crap out of her. You shouldn't have to, your hands can kill her. At the end of the day, like men are stronger than women, period. It's the way we're built. It's our biology.
Their hands get
So no,
killed.
like
Like, was
knowing
I
that
trained
as
in
a
martial
man, you
arts?
should definitely have some kind of reserve. You shouldn't be trying to, beat the crap out of somebody. I get defending yourself. I get pushing somebody off of you. I get it. Shove her. Make that bitch fall. I don't care. But like you shouldn't be like punching her in the face. That's ridiculous. Like there's no need for you to lose control to that point where you're
But
like just beating the crap out of a woman. That's not okay.
what you're talking about is that in the midst of emotions, you want
Hmm.
a man to control his emotions, yet a woman can get away with not controlling her emotions. And this,
That's
once
not
again,
what I'm saying at all. I
this
don't
goes to
think
a lot of
either party has a
this
right
goes
to,
to a
disrespect
lot
somebody
of
in that way, put their
scenarios.
hands on someone in that way.
Well, let's step back because there's a lot of other scenarios like that
Hmm.
where it seems like men need to have the control of the situation, right? Men are held accountable, and then women
Hmm.
have an out. For example, there are people out there who go out, right? It's Friday night, Saturday night. I'm going out, going to the club. I got a couple of drinks in me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling frisky. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling happy. I got paid. Life's great. I'm having a good time. I see a shorty at the bar. I talk to her. You know, she has a couple of drinks in her. I have a couple of drinks on me. You know, whatever. The moment's right. We hook up. The next morning, she wakes up and she's in regretful mode, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, at that point, there's a race, and I've heard this before. It's a race to the police station. The guy gets
Mm-hmm.
dressed, she gets dressed. He's like, oh shit, this is going to be a rape charge. They're both running to the police station to put in the rape case, right? And it's weird that men, right, are held accountable even though they're drunk. Yet a woman can say, "Oh, I was drunk. I'm not held accountable for the situation. I was drunk. He took advantage of me." But yet a man who's drunk, like I have constitute, I have the sense of my mind. So you're telling me alcohol affects me differently than a woman? Like I don't understand that. And this once again, it's that same scenario that you put up with the whole like she put your hands on you. She's raging. She's all full angry, right? But now you have to have some kind of reservation as a man to not go ape shit on her. Yeah, here's a small little creature going ape shit on you. If
Mm-hmm.
you got attacked by a raccoon and a raccoon is going ape shit on you, even though you could kill the thing, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna get it off of me.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
fighting
Are
it.
you not
I'm
gonna
fighting
go
it.
shit?
All right, all right. But still, I don't care. I don't care. That's not the point. The point is
No, it is the point. That's
that
exactly
no,
the point.
the
The
point
point is
is
that
that
men are held accountable,
neither
women are
one
not.
should be aiming to like cause like permanent damage. Like shit. You know what? It's I don't know why you brought it back to like the whole putting hands on each other because you were going in a different direction. I want to speak on that. So let's talk about date rape. Let's do this because there's a
Mm-hmm.
huge difference between a guy and a girl who's making out and they're both being frisky and then boom, they have sex. And like, hey, like they were hanging out, they were drinking together.
Once
Now
again, Lynn,
somebody's drunk and the other person's like, oh, I'll
I get
take care of you.
yes, but
I'll make sure you're safe. And then they take advantage of them.
yes, and once again, I don't want to look. I don't want to demarginalize people who do get date rape. I get it. It
Hmm.
happens. You know, something's dropped in your drink. You know, I've seen it time and time again where I'm at the club and this girl could barely walk and these guys are trying to take her out,
Hmm.
and I'll let the bouncer know like, yo, she can't even walk, bro. You might want to help her.
Yeah.
You might want to get a call or a cab. You don't want to be held accountable. I've seen those scenarios, and I'm not talking about those scenarios, Lynn. What I'm talking
Hmm.
about is the scenarios that it's like once again, and this goes back to the whole people hooking up, right? And the
Hmm.
woman's always right. People getting into a domestic violence issue, the women's always right, right? It's there's a pattern here. So you want to go back to that situation. Let's go back to the situation where you're talking about the violence, right? The
Hmm.
domestic violence and a woman putting hands on a man. If when the police shows up, their model, it's called the Duluth model. You can look it up. Their model is that the man is always the aggressor,
Right.
and the man will be the one that will always be taken away.
Hmm.
Knowing that, you're going to tell me that there's not women who abuse that.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, once again, I don't want to look. I don't want to sound like I'm harping on women. I'm just harping on the evilness that takes advantage of a situation.
Hmm.
Now, if the police came and took both of them away, let's get rid of that Duluth model and let's get to the point where it's like, hey, we got called. Everybody's getting taken away.
Right.
You got kids? All right, call somebody. Kids gotta, somebody gotta watch the kids. Call somebody, or you're both going to prison tonight.
Hmm.
I guarantee the next time they have that argument, they're both going to think about that. Like, oh, I don't want to end up
Right.
in
It's
jail.
gonna be a little
Because I
harder to
know
call
I
the
thought
cops. A
about
little
that.
harder to get them involved.
Right. I thought about that when shit got heated. I was like, fuck, let me leave this house because I'm not trying to get arrested.
Hmm.
Right? And I know that there's tons of men out there who hold back because the law is against them.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of women out there who act out because the law is with them.
In their favor. Yeah.
Right. So we squash that just by having this conversation and saying, look, there's evil people out there. Let's squash that. And when we respond to a domestic, violence, we take both of them out.
Hmm.
Who are the parties involved? Oh, you and you. Okay, you both go. You go spending the night in jail. You're both spending the
Right.
night in jail. And the charge is not against each other. The charge is against the state.
Hmm.
for being, disrupting. We answered the call. You guys called. We answered the call. You guys are both going over there. I guarantee a lot more less calls are going to be called for that, unless it's really somebody's like, of course. Look, you heard the stories. You see the people. The husband is just abusive. He was raised,
Hmm.
by a deadbeat dad. He's a deadbeat person. I get it. He's over here. He beats the shit out of her. Yeah, he should be. Yeah, of course he should be. The cops should come and arrest his ass. Of course.
Hmm.
But I'm talking about the scenarios where it's both of them. And I'm also talking about the scenarios that are being egged on by the woman. And you
Hmm.
see it all the time on Twitter. You see it on Twitter. You see it on Reddit. You see the videos where the woman's in a club and she's just beating the shit out of a dude. And he's just sitting there taking it. I show those videos to my kids and they were like, man, I love my boys. They crack me up because they're like, yo, I would defend myself. I'll put hands on her as I'm screaming, I identify as a woman. They're gonna be like, I identify as a woman. I identify as a woman. And they're beating her ass. It's like, look, because I tell them, look, you got to defend yourself. I tell them, don't look for fights. Don't start fights. If you can get out of a fight, walk away. But if somebody
Hmm.
puts hands on you, you got to end that shit
Yeah.
because you don't know how far they're willing to take that. And look, I know there's gonna be people hating on me. I get it because once again, oh, how dare you? How dare you not believe all women? How dare you make them seem like women aren't the
Hmm.
victims and they're the aggressor? Oh, because why? Because I'm changing the narrative. Because I'm addressing the fact that there's evil people out there.
Yeah.
Come on,
It's on both
we got to have
sides.
this conversation.
It's on both sides. You're absolutely right. It is on both sides. Just
Mm.
like like some people, they crave that kind of interaction. They want
They
that
do.
that passion in a relationship.
They do.
And like they know how to push the buttons of the person they're with. They know the
Mm-hmm.
type of person that they're attracted to. They know, what signs to look for. That's the reason why you see patterns. Like if there's somebody who's like, involved with like a domestic violence case, it's usually like, multiple relationships down the road, like throughout the years. Every relationship they jump into has like similar issues. And it's what they attract, and they know how to push the buttons to create those
Mm-hmm.
scenarios.
Right. And
Like
like
they know
once
what to
again,
say, they know how to behave, they know what kind of seeds to plant
what to
to
trigger
create
it,
that
right?
rise in somebody else.
Right.
Hmm.
And going back to the date rate, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I just kind of wanted to kind of put that end point when it came to the domestic violence. We can go into the
Hmm.
date rate too. I don't want to. Once again, if there's victims out there, I don't want to take their voice away. If
Hmm.
anything, I want to kind of silence the people who are abusing this, so that the people who are the victims can be heard.
Yeah,
Because I don't
there's room
want
for
them to be
their
drowned.
voices to be
I
heard.
don't right. I don't want them to be drowned out by the people who are abusing this. And it seems
Hmm.
like more and more you're starting to hear more of the people who are abusing this.
Hmm.
Right? It goes back to the whole Me Too movement. It goes back to domestic violence calls. It goes all this. It's just being abused. And we could talk about other stuff too. But I once again, evil people are everywhere, and we got
Hmm.
to address that. We got to address that. We got to say, nah. Is it
I mean,
like?
there's also attention seekers who,
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to sensationalize their stories because they want that sympathy. They're looking for,
Exactly.
somebody to they're looking for somebody to almost like empathize with them. So they do tell like these what starts out as little white lies, and then again it
Mm-hmm.
snowballs and it creates
And
a lot more than maybe the person initially
I'm
expected
glad
it
you
to.
said that because that's what I felt happened when the whole hashtag Me Too came out. I felt like there was a
Hmm.
lot of people who were coming out and they were just saying things on Twitter just so they can get that attention,
Right.
that sympathy, that victim, just that rush of like, oh my God, everybody's coming over
Hmm.
because for whatever it may be, maybe all the likes and all the comments, people feeling sorry for you and all that stuff. There is
Hmm.
attention there. There is attention there, and so we got to talk about that because I think that's a mental illness. That could be part of a mental illness. That could be something that's, um, I don't know. It's something in society we got to address on why people do certain things, um, lie, manipulate, do certain things for attention seekers, like you said.
Hmm.
Well, let's go to some of the comments because we're blowing it up today. Let's put some up here.
All right.
My uncle got caught by the police for a domestic nonviolence charge. They sent him to the hospital for a psych evaluation. He caught $1,000 hospital bill. That's crazy. And that by default, that's how
Okay.
the police and the courts are programmed for that. We can't deny that. It's called the
Hmm.
beleive model. You can look it up. When police respond to a domestic violence charge, they will always side that the man is the aggressor.
Yeah.
And so
Kevin
it's
Hart
we got
did
to
a skit
change that
about it
now.
in one of his stand-ups. Same thing. Like he like he put humor into a conversation that we need to have, because you're right, these are
Hmm.
things that we need to talk about, because there are people experiencing it with,
Hmm.
very evil people, very evil forces
Yes.
working against them.
And that's why I love comedy, because comedy, what did it say? Comedy, there's always a shred of truth in comedy. That's why it's comedy. That's
That's
why
why
it
it's
makes it
funny.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That's why it's funny, because there is a shred of truth. And I'm telling you, all this SJW, the message, all this stuff that's going on right now, the way we're combating it is through the memes and through
Hmm.
humor, right? And as you can see, you have like Kevin Hart, you have Dave Chappelle. Look at Dave Chappelle; he just got attacked the other day,
Hmm.
right? But
He did.
Netflix said, "Yo, we're gonna
Stood
stand with
behind
Dave
him.
Chappelle." They said, right?
Hmm.
They put out a message. Why? They were like, "Look, if you don't like the content we're putting out there, maybe this is not the company for you." I was like, "Oh shit, Netflix!" But this is after they lost subscribers
Hmm.
and they lost, their money. Their money's tanking, and that's why the saying is "Go woke, go broke," because it's like, look, people will abuse the message. But I love. Oh shit! My uncle took a glass table and threw it on the ground. The neighbors called the popo. Yeah, yeah. So he's so pissed off, and instead of putting hands on her, he put
Right.
hands on furniture, which you could replace that, right?
Yes,
Just to let out that anger, like you said, self control, self
it is.
control.
That was
So
absolutely
he's showing self
self-control. Yeah.
control. He's showing self control. Why? Because he was like, if I put hands on her, I'm gonna get charged. I'm gonna get a
Hmm.
year in prison, right? Whereas I break this table, I might spend at the end of the night $1,000, whatever. But you know, the consequences. That's where most people show self control, is through the consequences of their actions.
Yeah.
And we as a society, we gotta start
I
looking.
feel
We
like
gotta
as a
take
society, we've lost that sense of like cause and effect, like consequences for your actions. It's kind of just like,
not
oh,
on the men's side. Listen, this is why I keep telling you that men and women live in two different worlds. We live in two different worlds, and it's crazy because like I was with the whole Amber Heard, I'm going through and I'm seeing all these women crying and they're like, oh my God, men always win at the end. But,
mhm,
still this victim mentality of women. And yet, like I said, men and women live in two different worlds. I'm in these men groups and we feel like we're not victims. We don't try to men don't really have that victim mentality. If anything, what we have that feeling is like a feeling of that we're disposable. A lot of
mhm,
men nowadays are starting to feel like they're disposable, like they're just
mhm,
being used as a workhorse. Be it military frontline, we're the ones who die for wars. You know, and the court system says you got to pay child support, but we don't get to see our kids. We just feel disposable. Men are nowadays are feeling, and look it up. You can go to all these men's channels, men's groups, do your little research, and you'll start seeing the key word that men are saying is they feel disposable. Like
mhm,
they don't feel like they have a part of society. It goes back to the whole like toxic masculinity, the whole thing that's going out there. It's like, but I'm a man. I have masculinity. What are you talking about? It's like
right.
if I show any signs of masculinity, right? You want me to be femininity, right? Oh, okay, I got to be feminine. If I show any signs of, oh, I'm working out, I'm trying to be a man, I'm trying to do all this, oh, that's
Mhm.
toxic. You're a toxic man. So it's like men and women, we live in two different worlds. And where in the world that men live in, we're held accountable for everything we do. And not only are we supposed to be accountable for our actions, now any interaction with a woman, we're held accountable for your action as well. And that's why I'm saying, like, at some point, we need to hold women, we got to start holding women accountable again.
Mhm.
Kind of like, oh, we live in this world together. You guys got to act accountable for your actions.
Yeah. I definitely think, men and women should be held accountable, regardless. It shouldn't just be one-sided, like, oh, let me just assume that based on sex, like this is the aggressor and this is the person who's the victim. And it's not right. You're right. Women
Mm-hmm.
do go crazy. I've
Yes.
seen it.
Good
I know
morning,
a few.
Ma. Oh, I love mom
Hey,
coming
Ma.
on,
Good
always lighting it
morning.
up. Good morning, mom.
Thank you.
Good morning, my children. I'm so happy to see you guys. Lynn, your hair looks professional. I'm loving it. It's beautiful. Yeah, it's getting lighter with the color. I was gonna say that. Did you you said you didn't do anything, right? Like a while ago you dyed it and now it's just the sun is lighting it
Yeah,
up
like
for
I
you?
dyed it a few months ago, and now it's just
That's
growing back
good.
out nicely.
That's good. You look like J Lo in one of those movies.
Balayage. Balayage? I can't even say what the hell they did on my hair. I don't know. I did not get it done. I actually did it myself this morning. So thank you.
Hey, more power to you. That's like the greatest feeling when you do something like for free and it felt like you professionally did it.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
oh
oh,
man, I
pretty
saved
good.
like couple hundred. Yeah, it's
It's
great.
validating.
I feel like the only horse pulling a carriage full of people. Yeah, I feel you, Fuzz. I feel you,
Mm,
Fuzz. Like a lot of this is why a lot of men are checking out of everything because it's like there's a narrative that's going on in everything. The narrative is in dating, like you said, with this whole date rape going on. Like
hmm
men just don't want to deal with it. Checking out in the workforce because you know, people are abusing what started out as something good. There are
hmm
evil people abusing it. And like, once again, I don't want to feel like I'm bashing on women. I'm just talking about like with Amber Heard. I'm hoping that this comes out saying like, and there's a lot of women that are coming out. Like she put out a message after like she was found guilty, and
hmm
she has to pay. What was it like 15? It was like 15 mil, but it came down
15
to like
mil.
10 or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Well, she was found guilty, and she put out this message of like victimizing herself once again. And
hmm
I'm glad to see it. Like a lot of women are coming out commenting on it, saying like, "Nah, girl, don't try to make it and put this on all women. You're just a shitty
hmm
person." And I'm glad. I'm glad that people are
Mm,
calling out, and that's what I'm hoping through all of this is that people are starting to see that. Same thing happened with Jada, the whole Will Smith smack. A
yeah.
lot of women came out and was like, "Yo, you did this to your man. You
Yeah.
got into his head." Like a lot of women are acknowledging this, and that's what I'm applauding. I'm applauding that because we need that um, accountability in society.
hmm
Like we need that
Definitely.
accountability, and the accountability is there on men because it's the accountability is there with the police. The accountability is there in the courts. Like we need that accountability on the other side as well.
hmm
And it's crazy because the ones who hold women mostly accountable is women.
Yeah.
It's like women have this competitive nature with like what I told you. I told you like you should mentor like a younger find a younger woman, right? And you should
hmm
mentor her. And what Fuzz was like, nah, that competitive nature. Oh no, I think it was Tristan. It was like, nah, the competitive nature and Lynn would not make it work. I was like, really? I was like, yeah, because I like mentoring younger guys. I'm like,
hmm
yo, watch out for this, do this, they have questions. Oh, I'm thinking about buying a home. Oh yeah, you should do this, do that. Like I love that
Yeah.
passing on the knowledge. But it was like, nah, you couldn't do that.
I mean, we both do. I mean, I do actively. I volunteer with youth. I have a youth conference, not a youth conference, but I have a board retreat this weekend with the
Nice.
nonprofit that I'm on the board of. And we're going to be discussing like what we're doing going forward, where we're at in the year so far. That's kind of just like our halfway point. Um, but youth empowerment is so important. It's something, like I was actively involved in when I was a youth, and now I've turned around and I do give back. I give back to my community.
I hope you can change. I hope this empowers you to
hmm
take action and then start changing when you see that people are tapping into that victim mentality.
hmm
Because I don't get it. I really don't. If anything, once again, I say, men and women live in two different worlds. Women have a lot more rights than men do,
hmm
and yet they're still fighting for more. And I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, if anything, at this point, if you want true equality, you want equal rights. All right, then let's change the law and let's make it so that both men and women get, drafted for a war. Why hasn't
I knew
that
that's what you
changed?
were going to say.
Why
You've been
hasn't
on
that
that for a
changed?
while now.
Because it's the most obvious one. Because it's
hmm
like if you want true equality, then you can die. If there's a war that pops up right now, you should be able to go fight just as I'm capable of fight and defend our freedoms. Right?
hmm
Like, why is it that I can get drafted but you can't?
Because you're supposed to save the women and children.
Right. Like, what's okay? We're equal. Why can't a man come? Why can't a man come running out of a burning building first? Or better yet, no, listen. If you come running out by yourself, you're gonna look like a punk. Just grab two kids, put them on your shoulder, and come running out. Save the children. At this point, it should just be save the children, not save women and children no more. It's like, nah, you're equal to me. Nah, I'm gonna push you out the way, and we're gonna run out.
Lynn, I agree with Fred, but in my life, the best people I know are women. All the women in my life are like Mother Teresa sent from heaven.
I don't know if Fuzz if you're being sarcastic, but I'm gonna take it for like face value, and I'm gonna say shout out to all the women who are good women.
Yeah.
I hope that you're not getting triggered by me because I hope you keep doing what you're doing, and we need more women like you. I
Hmm.
applaud that. All I'm talking about is the evil people that are out there,
Yeah.
and I guarantee that Lynn is being quiet, but I guarantee she can go in if you want to. Lynn, let's go in on the evil men because I know there's evil men out there. I know it.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna defend all men. I'm just going to defend the men who are being victimized by the evil women and are
Yeah.
put into a scenario that are getting shitted on because I see it all the time. Divorce rape, child, getting divorce raped, paying alimony and all that when she's a capable working body.
Yeah.
The whole child support and child custody, right? Not being able to see your kid, that's heartbreaking.
Hmm.
I'm glad that I can co-parent with my kid's mom.
Right.
Like that's a blessing. And that's a blessing. And I
And
pray
you
every
guys
single
do
day
it
that
in a
that keeps
beautiful
working
way
out.
too. It's like it's admirable how you guys are working together to raise your children.
Oh, it's a blessing. It's a
Yeah.
blessing. And to that, like I say, like, look, we had our ups and downs in our marriage. I
Hmm.
know it could have been worse. I keep saying that. And I've seen worse. I've seen worse ever since she left. I've
Hmm.
seen worse. And it's like it scares the shit out of me that people are acting like this.
Right.
It's almost like they didn't have a mama, right? It almost goes back to Fuzz's comment where he had, good women in his life to kind of guide him.
Hmm.
It's like a lot of people are out there acting like they don't have a mama. I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's scary.
It's funny, like I'm trying to drive home that concept to my children that like they're the way they behave out in the world is a reflection of me. Like, dude, what are
Yes,
you doing? I'm not
yes,
raising you that way. Like, you
yes.
know better.
And that's why when I hear comments or compliments from my kids, I always tell them like, boys, I'm blessed that you guys are my kids.
Hmm.
Thank you for being the way that you are. Like you guys make me so proud. I always tell them I'm so proud because
Yeah.
you guys like you are a reflection of me and you carry
Hmm.
yourself, like little versions of me. You're very, everybody's like, oh my God, your boys are so polite. Like the other day, they went in for testing. They're homeschooled, so they went
Yeah.
in for testing in school, and all they're sitting in the office, and the secretaries there, they were all like, oh my God, your boys are so well behaved. They sat here for almost 30 minutes. They were
Hmm.
quiet. They weren't rowdy. They were like other kids would be rowdy. I was like, oh, thank you. Like, thank you, boys. Thank you for the comment. I was just in awe. And like I say it all the time, I'm blessed. I'm blessed with um, their mother. I'm blessed with them. I'm because I see it. I see the stories all around.
Yeah.
So I, it is what it is. But yeah, we can go into men bashing now. I feel like we're almost an hour
I
in.
mean,
I
just
don't
some
want to feel like
men
I'm just bashing
bashing,
on women.
men that are they're what is it? Womanizing, sexualizing women everywhere you go, like there's a lot going on with you men
Well,
nowadays.
we're
You know what?
we're
I
we're in
don't
a
really do the
sexual
whole
we're in
like
a sexual
man
nation too.
bashing, woman bashing. I just look at it as a whole. Like in my mind, like there is no difference. There is no, oh, your race, your sex, your like whatever. It doesn't matter. The fact is that you are who you are on the inside.
Hmm.
And men cheat, women cheat, men lie, women lie, like there is no discrimination. It's just hurtful people. And I feel like a lot of the hurt comes from like generational issues. It's the
Hmm.
way their parents were treated and the way they treated their children. And, it's
Right.
something that they're now passing on to the children that they've had. And it's sad because we're just repeating the
That
same,
vicious cycle.
the
Yep.
same bullshit.
And if
Hmm.
anything, as we repeat this vicious cycle, because society is changing it's almost like the negativity and the evilness is getting empowered
Yeah.
each generation because once again,
Mm.
there's no accountability. So I mean, we could pivot here and we could talk about even some more evils. I mean, look at these last mass shootings that have been happening. And I know
Mhm.
everybody's message on it. You know, I don't want to, as a parent, um, let me tread lightly on this one because
Yeah.
I would be devastated if that would happen to my kids. Like I always said that if anything ever happened to my kids, I don't think I could live with myself.
Yeah.
I think about you're gonna lose your nephew and you're gonna lose your brother too, because
Mhm.
I don't know how parents can live with losing a child. I mean, like
Yeah.
that's the worst pain in the planet, right?
Mhm.
So I don't want to. Once again, I don't want to take away from their pain, but I also want to address the issue. You know, all these mass shootings out there is not a gun problem; it's a mental health problem.
Yes.
And we could talk about, once again, these are men, evil men, who are out here shooting up, be it the one in Buffalo or even the one in Texas, right?
Mhm.
They're shooting up these places. Why? Like
Right.
nobody ever asked that. Like the guy in Texas, he shot up his grandmother who was raising him.
Mhm.
Going back to what Fuzz said, all the women in his life are good women. Here's a good woman who was raising him. Mother dipped out, father dipped out, right? Grandmother
Mhm.
steps up. She didn't have to step up. But she's like, that's my grandkid. Let me step up.
Right.
And he killed her before he went and shot up the place.
Mm.
Like let's try to analyze and understand what's going on in that man's head,
Yeah. Yeah, I
right?
mean, honestly, all of the shootings that, have occurred here and all over the world, it always stems from what's going on inside their hearts, what's going on inside their minds. Like, you have to work
Right.
out your brain. Like, an untrained brain is like, a toddler with scissors,
Yes.
just running around, doesn't know what
Running
the hell
around.
they're
Da,
doing.
da,
Just,
da, da, da.
they
Right.
probably have two
Exactly.
hands in,
Right.
like
Something
you
bad's gonna
have to
happen.
you have to get control of what's going on in your mind. You have to pay attention to what messages you have on repeat. You have to pay attention to what kind of content you're consuming, what kind of world you're
Mhm.
creating for yourself.
Right.
It's all
And
so
even
important.
and any narrative that you want to believe in, because I know that some people are like, oh, you know what, they were both in the same message board. Maybe they were
Mhm.
groomed for this. Maybe they were, but think about it. Like I know if I was in some message board, no, ain't nobody gonna convince me to go shoot up someplace
Right.
because I'm there. I'm not. I got the knowledge to say I'm not gonna do that. You're fucking
Mhm.
out of your mind. Well, you gonna do that? I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
And even if it, right, like you have that sense of like I don't know how somebody could go. And there was another shooting, and most of these shootings, they end up by death by suicide. That's what they call them.
Uh-huh.
Maybe the person was suicidal, and then they end up doing a shooting, and then the cops end up shooting them. And so it's sad. It's sad that we don't have that conversation to say, hey, what's going on in this person's mind? It's a mental illness issue. Let's start looking at it. And then you can start if you start taking the stance of mental health and mental issues, that's going to stem to a lot of things. That's going to stem to what we just talked about. That's going to stem to a lot of other things that people are just doing things to either fit in,
Right.
to feel like part of something.
For
Like maybe these guys
validation. Just to,
validation,
just to
yeah.
feel like, damn, like somebody finally saw me.
Yes. We have a men's crisis. They place these men in a smooth world, but we live in a broken society. When things get rough, these men don't know how to handle their emotion and lash out. Yes, I
Mhm.
totally agree. And that's what I was talking about earlier. We live in
Yeah.
two different worlds, and a lot of men are feeling disposable. And I don't know. I don't want to say that that's what these guys were feeling, that they felt like they were disposable and they felt like, I want to go out in a bang. But I will say that there's a mental illness there.
Mhm.
And that goes to everything that we've been talking about all um this whole episode. The women who take advantage of a cause, the women who
Mhm.
will lie about something as grievous as domestic violence, date rape. There's women who lie about that,
Mhm.
right? I've heard cases where going back to the whole date rape thing. I've heard cases where a woman, she gets drunk, she had a boyfriend, she's drunk, she hooks up with a guy, and then the next morning, because she doesn't want her boyfriend to find out, right? Oh, he
Mhm.
raped me. Instead of, hey, I
Yeah.
got drunk
And
and I want
that's
to
the
have a good time.
bullshit. That's the bullshit right there.
So
Like
it's
It's one thing for it to be a misunderstanding. It's another thing for, somebody to use that to hurt somebody in that way. They're not thinking about the other person. They're not thinking about the ramifications that are going to come to them, the cause and the effect. They're just thinking, oh my God, how am I going to cover my own ass?
Hmm. They
That's
also
crazy.
chemically castrate these men too. I'm kind of lost on that one. If you want to elaborate on how they chemical castrate, was through modern day medication? Is that what you're trying to get at? I'm a loss on that one, Fuzz. Help us out.
I mean, it could just be the hormones and stuff that we're pumping into our food that's creating the changes in our youth that we're
That
seeing,
too. Yeah.
that's a way that they're chemically,
You know what I've
changing
also
us.
noticed? What I've also noticed is that a lot of people, a lot of kids are developing a lot faster. Have you
Hmm.
even noticed that? Like, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of kids are going through puberty at like a very young age.
Young age, yeah. So, a lot of people believe it is because of the stuff that we're pumping into like the meat that we're consuming. It's
Hmm.
getting into our bodies and our children are developing quicker because that's the intention of these chemicals that they're giving these animals. They want the
Yes.
animals to be plump. They want them to be bigger. They want them to grow quicker. And, it is getting into their system, which is getting into the meat that we're eating.
Mm. Okay.
Mhm.
That makes sense. I never looked at it in that sense. I just looked at it in a sense like, like you have children that are developing, right,
Mhm.
at a very young age,
Yeah.
and then they're getting attention from adults, right,
Yes.
which is then making them like miss out on their childhood.
Their childhood. Mhm.
And then another thing in society is like we're pumping, like society is over sexualized.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
on both ends. It's over sexualized. It's everywhere,
Mhm.
and like these kids are being exposed to that, and it's almost like if you want to fit in, you got to be sexualized. It's on
Mhm.
Instagram. It's all over social media.
It's
It's
everywhere.
on regular media, the movies,
It's in the
your
music that they listen
magazines.
to, it's in the movies that
Yup,
they
it's
watch,
everywhere.
even the TV shows, like if you look at the
Hmm.
Disney Channel, what you'll see is that it's no longer animated, it's real people. They have
Hmm.
real actors and they're doing almost like these soap opera kind of shows. And within these shows, they're having, they're playing out scenarios of very young children being exposed to, hey, this boy kissed me, or oh, like these people are already having sex. Like they're
I,
doing
I
very adult
I would even
themes.
want. I would take it one step back. Even look at the shows back in like the '90s and early 2000, and now what the kids wear in the shows today.
Hmm.
Like mid drift shirts where they're showing their stomachs and everything. I'm like,
Yeah,
wait, why are little kids dressing like this?
yeah.
Like, I don't know, kids should dress a little more conservative,
Hmm.
right? Like if you don't want to listen, you don't want to sexualize your kids. Don't have your kids dress in a sexual way.
Right.
Don't be like, oh well, why are you looking at it like that? No, you know what they're doing. Don't
Yeah.
dress. Have them dress like kids.
And it's hard. It's hard. Definitely having like a daughter who's 12 and she's in middle school, and she sees the way everyone else is dressing and she wants to be popular, she wants to be cool, she wants to fit in, and her style is changing. And the only thing I could think of doing is, I have a talk with her and I told her, I was like, hey, like, here's the problem with this. You are dressing in a very mature way and you're attracting a very mature,
Mature, yeah, mature audience,
audience.
right?
And
Right,
what I tell her is like, hey, like if you portray yourself in this way, like you're older, like you carry yourself this way, you're going to be put into scenarios where you're going to be uncomfortable.
right.
You're going to have to
And
face very adult scenarios at a young age.
right, exactly. And I'm not talking about like, look, you have the predators out there, right? There's probably
Hmm.
grown ass men that are looking at your daughter in certain ways. I'm not talking about that. That's evil men too. I'm talking about like in the scenario where you said she's 12 right now, right?
Hmm.
She could easily have a 16-year-old boy who's now, on a different meter of maturity, right?
Yeah. 4 years
A
makes a
16 year
big
old,
difference.
a 16-year-old boy looking at her now because
Right.
she's dressed in a certain type of way,
Right.
you know? And it's like I get it because society's like, oh, I should be able to dress any way I want
Hmm.
and not have this against me. Oh, it's the boy who's being toxic, right? Once again, that
Hmm.
goes back to the whole toxic masculinity and all that. But it's like, no, I think we need to address that. We need to address that. Look, you're sending out a certain signal.
Yeah.
And I don't want to. I don't listen. I hate, like, I feel like I'm taking away on somebody's freedom to be who they want to be, a freedom to express who they are. But it's like
Hmm.
you got to understand that certain things will trigger certain things.
Yeah.
And once again, I don't blame the 16-year-old boy, and I don't blame your daughter. I blame society in that sense.
Hmm.
Like you said, your daughter is just trying to fit in.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing. Like I know it. I know it. Like, look, I was always an outsider. I really didn't care about any of that shit. I was like, whatever, let me play my video games. I'm cool.
Hmm.
Right? But I get it. I get that need to want to fit in. That need, of popularity and all. Like I get it. I get it.
Hmm.
A lot of people want to just feel like they're part of something. And that stems to all this stuff that we're talking about. We're bringing it all back around, right? Where it's like you wonder, like, how can somebody lie about something? And we said it earlier. People are just trying to fit in.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you're having that conversation with her, because it's like, look, you're gonna put yourself in a predicament where
Yeah.
you got to deal with adult things. Are you ready for that?
Hmm. And we also talk a lot about self-respect. Like just
Mm-hmm.
because other women are portraying themselves this way and dressing this way and doing these things, like you people only respect you as much as you respect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so hard. It's so hard being a mom of a daughter. Like, what is this?
Good luck. That's why I
Oh,
said
jeez.
I'm so glad. Once again, I'm blessed that I had all boys. I don't think I could raise a daughter in this day and age, because I feel like my morals would be over my morals would be drowned out by society,
Society. Mm.
right? And
Yeah.
so that's why I'm like, I know I can't. It would kill me to raise my daughter a certain way and then have society just destroy her.
Yeah.
The
The
active and
active and mis-
misbehaving. Oh, go ahead, Lynn.
the
You read
active
it.
and misbehaving boys are prescribed pharmaceuticals at a young age. You know what? We're seeing this in young girls too now. That just our youth in general, they are. As soon as you don't color in the lines, as soon as you talk too much, as soon as fidget too much in your seat, they rush to get you
Mm-hmm.
diagnosed and on prescriptions.
Yep. And I think that we saw that both on our in our day-to-day lives. Like I saw it with my youngest, and that's
Hmm.
why I'm so glad that COVID happened, or Kofifi. I'm so glad Kofifi happened in my personal life, because once again, my superpower, my mutant powers is being optimistic. I'm
Hmm.
always going to take a bad scenario and look at the positives of it, right? That's what makes me be just happy and content with life. A lot of people ask me, like, Ray, what's your secret? It's like that. It's that. Every time shit happens, you get lemons, you make lemonade. Literally,
Yeah.
I get lemons. I'm cooking with it. I'm putting it in my water. I'm
Yeah.
putting lemons on my fries. Look, I live with lemons. It's great. But a lot of people don't know how to adapt and overcome with that. So with
Hmm.
me, my youngest, he had a real, I told you, he always had a hard time sitting down.
Hmm.
He was very active. He has that raging testosterone in him where he just got to be all around the place. And I told you, I was worried when he went to kindergarten. I was like, they're going to try to prescribe him something.
Yeah.
And sure enough, when Kofifi hit, that's when they were able to be homeschooled. And after that, he never went back. I think he went kindergarten, and it was first grade. Halfway through first grade, Kofifi
Everybody,
hit,
school's
and then
closed.
yeah, homeschooling, and I was happy for it.
Yeah.
And now I don't want to send him back. I want to be part of his schooling. I want to make sure I understand what they're teaching him, as
Hmm.
well as um, I know how to talk to him to get to the point where he has to sit down and focus and pay attention and do what he has to do.
Hmm.
Whereas the teachers, bless their hearts. I don't want to sound like I'm knocking teachers either, but there's just some teachers who just are fed up and they don't want to deal with it.
Hmm.
And so they're
Not
like,
to
maybe he
mention,
needs
not to
this.
mention classroom sizes.
Hmm.
Like if a child needs one-on-one attention, it's impossible with a class of
Right, when you
30.
have like 20 or 30 kids, yeah. And I
Yeah.
know on your end, the guidance counselor was talking about your daughter and saying
Hmm.
like she has, depression and all this, and they wanted to get her on medication as well.
Hmm.
So I know we both as parents, and we've seen it.
Yeah.
Buzz is 100% right that they're trying to pump our kids with medicine.
Hmm.
Oh, medicine solves all our problems. Mind
And
you,
I think
all
that was
these big
also,
companies,
that was also his connection to chemically castrating men, is
yes,
the pharmaceuticals
the
that we're pumping
pharmaceuticals, yes,
into our men and our
bringing
children.
it back. Yep,
Hmm.
exactly. And this goes back to the whole, with Kofi and the vax, right?
Hmm.
Everybody's like, oh, trust the vax. But just a few years later, all these companies were getting sued for
Yeah.
malpractice, right? Like, how do we trust the pharmaceutical company so blindly when there's evil in society?
Hmm.
They will cut corners to make a profit. We
Yeah.
know this. We know this.
And that's the issue too. They're a for-profit organization. It's not like,
Right.
oh, medicine's free. It's not like, oh, it goes through a nonprofit. No, no, no. It's a business.
It's like the
And
people, once
their
again,
bottom line is their bottom line. They want to make
yeah,
sure that at the end
they
of the
got to
day,
make
their
those
profits are
dollars.
increasing.
Right. So why heal something when they can get you addicted to a drug and now we have a customer for life?
Hmm.
Why have the conversation and address why this kid is acting up or why this kid feels sad? Why address the issues at home? Why address the issues in school? Why address the issues in this personal kid's life instead of just saying, hey, pump him with medication. Now he's on medication for life.
Hmm.
Maybe that's what leads to the mass shootings. Oh my God, it's all running together.
Right. I mean, these
Oh
drugs
my
in
God,
general,
really, Ray?
even like antipsychotics, now we're talking about, older people, but
Mm-hmm.
antipsychotics, like you can't just cut those cold turkey. And if your
Mm-hmm.
doctor decides to change like the dosage, they have to do that gradually. They can't just switch
Right.
it like that. Like these are things that we're chemically pumping into ourselves that ultimately they're messing with us. And
Mm-hmm.
most people who have to take meds for antipsychotics, they want to stop. Most of them go off their meds. It's not because, hey, being on my meds, it's all sunshine and butterflies. It's
No,
because
it's
being on the
not. They
meds is
hate it.
affecting them
They hate the
negatively
feeling.
also.
Yep. And once I said, like I believe that all mental issues, and once again, I'm not a doctor. This is my own belief. This is my own
Hmm.
opinion. I truly do believe that if you dig deep into that underlying issue and you heal that problem inside, you don't have to be on any of those medications. I
Right.
truly believe that. I've witnessed it. I've seen it. I've seen guys who came back, being an ex-Marine. There's guys who, were in the Marines, had PTSD, right?
Hmm.
They went and they took, ayahuasca, went through that mental trip, addressed the underlying issue with inside of them, and
Hmm.
then fast forward, they're running their own business. They're not on the medication. They're healthy. They're in shape. They're just living the best life that they ever lived
Yeah.
because they
When we,
went and they dug deep inside and they fixed that problem.
yeah. And when we suppress like these deep issues, all we're doing is creating a ticky time bomb. Like we're creating a pressure
Mm-hmm.
system that will ultimately explode. It's going to fail.
Yeah, and
You
we don't
cannot
even
suppress your emotions. You have to be able to
right,
find an outlet that allows you to deal with what's going on in your mind,
right,
deal with what has happened to you in the past. You can't just, push it down and pretend it didn't happen.
right. And we listen. We're talking about people on medication, but what about the people who self-medicate
Hmm.
with alcohol, with drugs? What are they
Hmm.
trying to do? They're trying to escape from feeling what?
Yeah.
Feeling the things, the ghosts that are haunting them,
Hmm.
the issues that are haunting them. Be it, the pain that they feel of being abandoned as a child. Be it mommy walked out, daddy walked out, whatever it may be, right? Feeling of, like you said earlier, peer pressure, acceptance, feeling
Hmm.
popular, feeling part of the crowd, just feeling like I have a purpose, feeling like I fit in,
Hmm.
right? Once again, Fuzz nailed it earlier. We do have a crisis in society for men. Men have lost their sense of purpose. And that's going back to what I've read in all these men's community. A lot of men are just saying, I feel disposable. I feel like society just throws it to the side. They don't have a
Yeah.
purpose. And I think that goes in general. I think both sex don't have a purpose. I think a lot of people are latching on to a lot of these groups because they just want to feel like they belong to something.
Yeah.
And this is where we have to go back into that whole message of self-love.
Hmm.
I'll drive that home every single day. It's like if society don't want you, you're still living. You're still
Right.
breathing. If you're still living and breathing, find your purpose.
Hmm.
Love yourself enough to find that purpose and be on your purpose, even if society has turned their back on you. I think it was a meme, not a
That's
meme, but a
hard.
tweet.
That's hard to do.
It is. Oh
It's one of
yeah,
those
it is.
easier said than done kind of things.
It is. It is easier said than done. But there was a tweet that hit me because it's literally my life.
Hmm.
The tweet was like, "Daddy left, wife left, you're still there. You still
Yeah.
got you." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, no shit. Yeah, yeah, you're right." And so that's it. I stayed. That was what the tweet said. It was like, "Daddy left, wife left, you stayed, you got you, do you." And I
Yeah.
believe it. I was like, "Yo, I'm summarizing the tweet because I really can't remember word for word." But it hit me because I
It's
was
what
like,
you
"Yo,
took from
shit,
it, you
that's
know?
it really hit home because I was like, yo, seriously, my pops left,
Hmm.
right? My wife left, but I still got me. I still got time, right? As long as every day I'm blessed with life, I could turn my life around at any minute,
Hmm.
right? I could live the best life that I can live, and I'm doing it. So if I could do it, anybody could do it. I'm just a guy here on YouTube. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Listen, believe in yourself. Hmm. The active and misbehaving boys are prescribed pharmaceuticals at a young age. Yeah. Yep. I agree. And it's everybody. You see it. What I noticed too? A lot of people are now getting prescribed medication for anxiety,
Yeah.
and it's not just kids. It's adults too. It's like, oh here, oh you have anxiety. Here you
Yeah. Oh, you have anxiety? You're not allowed to have a cell phone anymore. Boom.
go. For
Fixed.
real, for real. That's easy for a kid, but it's like no, it's like adults. It's like
Mhm. You
I
know
don't
what? I
know.
had a really powerful moment when I was in Miami last. My daughter, 12 years old, she called me and she was crying and she was upset because her friend who had slept over just a couple nights earlier was like being mean to her on the phone, and it started a group chat and everybody was kind of gaining up on her, and I was so proud of her for one making that phone call to me in her
Hmm.
time of need, and two, like just like I didn't try and fix her problem for her. I was just trying to listen. I was trying to be her soundboard.
Hmm.
And she basically worked through, and she was just like, you know what, I need to leave my phone alone for a little bit. She's like, it'll be different when I go back to school tomorrow. And she was able to think through that scenario when that scenario is hurtful, it's painful, and it can be scary because a lot of children who lack self-confidence, they're being bullied in this way, and they're
Hmm.
they're taking their own lives, they're hurting themselves rather than being able to rationalize that this will pass.
And what you said is what psychiatrists used to do back in the day,
Hmm.
which was really just like you said, be your soundboard. Just say, and go ahead, keep
Hmm.
going, and dig deep into what's the underlying problem and dig deep into finding that solution.
Right.
Like how you said, step away from the phone. Maybe the phone is
Hmm.
causing you distress. Maybe even digging deeper into understanding, like, okay, if these are not the right friends for you, have an abundance mindset to believe in the sense that you could find friends anywhere.
Hmm.
Like, how many girls are in your school? How many girls are
Right.
in your grade? Right? If there's 100 girls in your grade and three of them are treating you like shit, you still got 97 that might like who you are.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Like that whole like changing that whole mindset. That's what psychiatrists used to do, but now they're just quick to prescribe.
Right.
And I don't understand it. Like once again, there's evil people in the pharmaceutical company. There's
Hmm.
evil people in government. Like, why are we so quick to like trust and not understand that people are like evil to get one over us? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So I know Fuzz had yeah, your thoughts
Money.
on Pfizer
Money is
CEO
the root of
discussing
all
pills.
evil.
They want to track to see if you're taking your medication. Like track, make sure you're making us money. I honestly, I could see it past that. I could see us living in a world like that. I mean, they're talking about what was it when Kofifi happened? Our apps was tracking us to see if what they called it contact tracing, right? To
Yes.
benefit us. But what was it? What was it? It was just another right and another privacy we gave up on.
Mhm.
all under the guise of safety. And it's like, I don't know, maybe at some point we should start taking care of our own selves.
Mhm.
Oh, so let me ask you, let me go back to this because I know we talked about gun, we talked about the gun violence, but we didn't talk about gun control because this is going to go back to Canada. So Canada just pulled out, Canada's doing some crazy shit up there. I don't know how people up in Canada are living up there. I would just come back down. There should be an influx of people coming down to the States because it's crazy up there. Did you hear that Canada just banned all guns?
They banned all guns.
Yeah, he just came out and was like, put a freeze on guns, you're banning the sale, banning the transfer, banning like
Mhm.
everything. Mind you,
Wow.
this is a politician. Once again, don't trust politicians. This is a
Mhm.
politician who, in his everyday life, are being protected by armed men.
Mm.
Once again, these politicians says, you know, do as I say, don't do as I
Not
do.
as I do. Right.
Right? They can go out here and they can get on and say, "Oh, we need gun control. We need gun control. We need gun control." However,
Mhm.
they walked away from the once they get off camera on the day to day lives, they're being protected by armed guards.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand the whole the hypocrisy of all that. It's like, look, you're being protected by the guns you want to take away,
Mhm.
right? So
So
I'm
now
just curious.
I feel like I need more details on this. So he banned all guns, like, hey, like we're putting a pause on this. You
Can you
can't
pull
buy
it
a
up?
gun right now, kind of thing. Like with the
Can you
intention
look it
of
up?
like changing the way you could purchase a gun, or like where is this coming from? Like is
No,
there a
he
plan
just
with this? Are they going to try and take guns from people who already own guns? Like what's going on in Canada?
Um, I I wouldn't be surprised if they start saying, "Hey, we got to take away the guns from the people who do own guns."
That's ridiculous. And I think, you know what, we need to listen to China in this one because China's people is giving us the warning. They're like, hey, don't let your government take your guns.
Yeah,
Don't let it happen. And
no,
ultimately, we have the right to bear arms for a reason. Come on, it's our Second Amendment, guys. Like it was the second thing they decided to write down. Like, do not take your weapons.
once
you
again,
know,
once again, and
because
it's all under the
ultimately, if we
guise.
need to stand up against our government, let's fucking do it.
Yeah, oh yeah, woo,
Like
yo,
ultimately, like
I
this
love it.
country is supposed to be free. Like we're supposed to,
Mhm.
stand on this whole like, freedom and your right to, speak your own thoughts, and you're supposed to be able to protect yourself. But it's slowly trickling down that they're trying to come after our weapons. And as a gun owner
Yeah,
myself, I say, hell no, you're not taking my gun.
which is
It's not
funny because
happening.
it's not funny. I shouldn't say it's funny. Bad choice of words. But every time there's a mass shooting, gun sales go up like crazy.
Mm,
Like crazy. Why? Because we have these talks. We blame the guns. We don't blame the mental illness. We don't
right.
blame the individual. And then once again, Canada just came out and did it. What's stopping? All right, we have our constitutional rights here in the states. Well, we
Hmm.
already seen that the Constitution gets trampled.
Right.
And this is exactly like here you go. You got the left applauding what Canada did. The next step is
Hmm.
they're going to take your guns away. And what ends up what ends up happening when the citizens can't protect themselves? You do have something like China
Hmm.
where they're locking down, they have no say, they can't fight against the government. It's like that's what you guys want. You want to be able to not fight the government.
Right. We're losing our power. The government isn't supposed to control us. It's supposed to be there to help us to, make sure that we're all getting the same we all
Mm-hmm.
have the same rights, we're all protected. That's what our government is for.
And the crazy part about it, once again, is all under the guise of safety. And I go back to like, yo, we should be listen. You want to be safe? Protect your own damn ass.
Hmm.
I guarantee
You want
that
something
those
done right, do it yourself.
exactly. And look, once again, I it's a tragedy what happened in these mass shootings, but I guarantee somebody in those shootings were like, I wish I had a gun.
Mm,
I wish I had a gun right now to shoot this guy
yeah.
because this guy is cray cray. Ultimately, that's what it is. Like you're not thinking when you're in that life or death situation, you're not thinking about all this stuff. All the stuff you're not thinking about. Oh my God, how was he marginalized? Oh my God, oh I wish the cops were here. But no, what are you thinking about? You're thinking about, man, I wish I had a gun that I could pop this guy off before he pops me.
Yeah.
It's at that point it's a it's fight live mentality, right? So it was a
Hmm.
fight
Survival of the
or
fittest,
right.
fight
So
or
like
flight.
Right,
Mhm.
exactly. That's what you're thinking about at that moment. So you're either like, yo, let me figure out how to escape because I don't have a gun.
Mhm.
Because if I did have a gun, I'll be popping off over here and making sure I hit him if he's gonna take me out too.
Right.
Especially those teachers, because I know as a teacher, you have, for the good teachers that are out there, I know these teachers, I've seen it time and time again with the teachers that were, with my kids, they just have this like goodness in their hearts to want to take care of kids, right?
Yeah.
Like you hear about the bad teachers, and I'm glad that people are talking about them as well. The teachers who are grooming kids and all that, that's sickening. Let's put a shine a light on that too. But, most teachers, they do have that good intention to want to help kids.
Mhm.
And so I know these teachers that are caught up in these mass shootings, their thing is like, look, if I'm going out, I want to save these kids.
Yeah.
I want to give these kids a fighting chance. It's like, why not arm these teachers?
Mm.
But arm them with the psych eval that comes with it to make sure that they're stable.
Right.
Let's address it. We're going to put a tool that can hurt somebody. Let's make sure that we're doing, psych evaluations and make sure that people are capable in their right mind of handling this tool.
Mhm.
Like they want, like Canada went and banned. They froze. I'm looking at all the articles right now.
Mhm.
I'll show. I got all the articles right here. All the headlines on my
I
iPad,
thought you were
and
gonna
I'll read
share
them.
your screen.
I can't share my screen. I don't know how to do that. We could do that. StreamYard, allows us to do that. I just don't know. I got it here. But it's like Canada gun ban is what Democrats want in America. Um, Let me see. This one's from the BBC News. Handguns. Canada proposed complete freeze on ownership. So they're gonna freeze
Mm.
everything. So at this moment, they're gonna freeze all stores. This is crazy. Stores who will sell guns. What are they gonna do?
Mhm.
They're gonna have a whole inventory of guns that can't even be sold.
Yeah.
So they're gonna freeze it, and then I guarantee you, there's gonna be the next move is gonna be retroactively taken away from the citizens. I'm like, at that point, good luck with you. Good luck, because at that point, mm, let them try to
That's
come and get my
crazy.
guns at my door. Like, no, sir, you're not taking my guns. Mm-mm.
Mm.
Because I
Mm-mm-mm.
learned the hard way. I learned the hard way where I live. It takes the cops 30 minutes to answer a call, whatever the call
Mhm.
may be, 30 minutes to an hour. I'm not going to put my kid's life in danger because I'm in the middle
Right.
of the woods. And I'm not talking about just bad people. I'm talking about, look at where I'm living. Look at where I live. A bear could
Yeah.
just come up. Now, I'm not trying to kill a bear, but I would like to have a gun to shoot some warning shots
Mhm.
and have them run away, right? Look, listen, I'm not gonna my safety and my children's safety. I'm not gonna put it in other people's hands. I'm gonna put it in my own hands. And I think
Right.
society we rely too much on the government. We rely too much on the police. We rely too much on just everybody else. It's like at some point we got to be held accountable for ourselves, and we got to pull ourselves up and start doing things better for ourselves.
Which is crazy because this comes from us having like a false sense of security. Like we feel it's not even a false sense of security. We feel safe because really we are safe. And what's going on is that, through the media, through the news, we're creating this sense of fear, this sense of panic within our minds. Like, we don't have to worry about being mauled by a tiger,
Yeah.
like mauled by a bear. Like, maybe it'll pass by your house, but what's the chances of a bear trying to break into your house? Like, there's this sense of like, oh my God, we're exposed and we need protection. But
Mm-hmm.
on the same time, like with this anxiety that we're building within society, we're not realizing that we are able to take care of ourselves.
Well,
And ultimately we're responsible for our own safety. We're responsible for taking care of ourselves. I can't
look
rely
what
on,
happened.
like you said, like you can't rely on, oh my God, well, let me just dial 911, even though somebody's breaking my window right now trying to get me.
Right,
Like,
right,
like you have to be able to protect yourself, whether that's
exactly.
with guns, or if you're not about guns, like, dude, think about how you're going to protect yourself. If somebody's trying to come into your house and take like your supplies, your water, your food, because there's a shortage, what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
How are you
I just
holding down your fort?
listen. I do drills with my boys. Like I was like when Kofifi happened, I was like, yo, I don't know how bad this is gonna get. Food shortage, right? I saw all that stuff. I was thinking about all that stuff. I was doing drill with my boys. They thought it was fun. They were like, yo, we're doing combat training with dad. But I was like, yo, realistic. If we gotta fight,
Hmm.
it's life or death. I'm I'm gonna fight for life. I'm gonna fight for
Yeah.
not my life, but my kids' life. And I want them to fight for their lives, right? Because that's my legacy, that's my future. They gotta I want them to survive to keep the world going, right? Keep
Hmm.
our lineage going. Like you gotta fight, you gotta fight. It's like I don't get it. People have this and you see it with Kofifi, like people through fear, people had a false, like you said, a false sense of safety
Hmm.
and security, which then gave what? The evil people, once again, let's go back to today's
Give
topic.
them the
Evil
power.
people are
Oh,
everywhere,
we're the
gave
guys
them the
in their
power,
safety. We'll take
and
care of
now,
you.
yeah, and now they're like, oh, I don't want to give this power up.
Mm,
It's like, you
mm.
know, literally, that's what it is. That's literally, we're living that. And people still trusting. There's still people that swear up and down with the government. And I'm like, bro, granted, there are good people, but there's also bad people that are making shit harder for you. Pay
Yeah.
attention. Pay attention. Where are we on with the comments, Lynn?
Oh, my watch is yelling at me because I haven't been moving. Oh, it's 12:30. All right. Well, if you're just tuning in, welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. Welcome to the channel,
With the
Sibling
many rants
Rivalry.
that we had
I'm
today.
Lynn. This is Ray. We're siblings and we're givers. We're givers of love, givers of good vibes, and givers of strength through communication, through good
Mhm.
conversation.
So, let's as we start to wind this whole segment down, let's talk about because that's our power of positivity, right? Let's talk about let's bring it let's land in a positive note. Let's be positive. Let's leave a positive message out there. What should people do with all this stuff? All the stuff that we talked about, everything encompassing. What's your closing message, Elaine?
I always go back to community.
Mm-hmm.
Like know the people around you. Like be familiar with the cars that are coming and going on your block. Be familiar with the faces that you see coming in and out of like your neighbors' homes, your home. Um, Make sure you're creating those bonds with people so that you have a sense of belonging and you don't need that glorified reassurance of, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you're somebody. You need to believe that you are somebody and you have to connect with people because that's what we do as humans. That's
Mm-hmm.
what separates us from animals. We communicate and we create community amongst ourselves.
I agree. And I'll take it one step further. I'll say, listen, your mama raised you right. Just because you could do something doesn't mean you should.
Hmm.
Simple as that. Like, just understand
Oh,
that
I love that one
what
in my house. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
you should, right? And
Yeah.
just because you could pull one over, a fast one over somebody, or maybe the laws may be on your side, or whatever it may be, understand you still got to live in this world, and what you put it out is what you're gonna get. I believe that. I
Hmm.
truly believe in karma. And I believe that karma doesn't just direct you, like affects you directly. It affects the ones you love, the ones you care about. And I've witnessed
Mm.
that. I witnessed where some people have been putting so much negative energy, and then it affects their
Their
mother,
children, their
or
loved
affects their
ones.
kids, their loved ones. Yes, and it's like we got to stop this negativity. We got to stop it in the sense of just we all have evil inside of us. Let's just try to be good.
Hmm.
Let's all try to do, let's combat evil with doing a random act of kindness. Like I see why I was gullible because I had good intentions. I believe
Hmm.
the guy's story. I gave him the $10, and yeah, he scammed me, but you know what? I felt good about it.
Yeah.
I'll probably still do it to this day. I'll probably still be go, but I got a couple of change. Here you go. It's like honestly, I'd rather have that than
My
know like
my daughter's big on giving out a couple dollars, like when we're sitting in traffic and there's somebody asking for money. She's
yeah.
always like, "Oh, is there anything I can give them? Do we have snacks in the car? Do we have water? Do we have a couple dollars?" Because she has in her, she has a huge heart and she wants to help, and she sees
You know,
other
I
people are in need, and she wants to fill that gap.
And I've done it where it's been late at night, where after going out or whatever, and I go to a spot to eat, and the guy's outside, and he's like, "Yo, you have any change?" And I'm like, "I don't have change on me, but I can buy you something." And he's like,
Hmm.
"Yo, let me get this, let me get that," and I've done that.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yo, there's no problem with that." I was just like, "What?" It was like it ends up being a $15 bill for me. You know how much I
Hmm.
spend in drinks at the spot? Like I don't care
Yeah.
about that, but I know that I did a random act of kindness, and this guy's happy for it.
Hmm.
And I think that's what, like, I think in society, I know there's a lot of people hurting, but I also think that there's a lot of people who are self-centered, and like we gotta change that mentality. Like we gotta start thinking about others in the same sense.
Yeah.
You know,
We're
maybe
all in this
if
together,
some
man. We all have
we
our
are.
struggles. We all have our baggage, our
Hmm.
pains, our stuff that we need to heal from. We're all just trying to survive, trying to
Right.
make the best of this.
And
And some
I
people,
think
they're losing their way, man. So if you have a bright light to shine, make sure it shines.
right. And I think like if somebody was willing to listen to these individuals, maybe we wouldn't have these mass shootings.
Hmm.
Maybe if somebody, unfortunately, the guys, the shooters were men. Maybe if there was another male role model, or just maybe they were part of a group. They were part of a group, the wrong group, right?
Hmm.
Maybe if it was a group that was more positive in their message, maybe these guys went up and shut up the whole place.
Yeah.
It's like be careful
And
what you do
honestly,
in society.
at some point in your adult life, you have to look back. You have to reevaluate your values, your beliefs, because like we kind of just latch on to what our parents believed, what our parents values were, but we don't really define our own values.
Mm,
And just doing that simple act, it'll give you an idea of what it is that you stand for, what it is that you do believe in.
right.
The kind of good that you do respect in the world.
Hmm. You guys make me very proud. I did a great job. Oh, thank you, mom. You should be proud. You
Thank you,
should be
man.
proud because both your kids turned out right. I thought this one wasn't going to turn out good. Oh, this one. No, wait, wrong way. This one. Yeah,
I was like,
this
oh,
one.
who's behind
This
you?
one.
Who's outside?
Yeah, we got another one. No, no, no. Ma, you raised us right, and hopefully we can help the world
Hmm.
because we were loved, and unfortunately, a lot of people out there, like you said, are trying to fit in
Yeah.
and are trying to feel like. And I'm going back to going back to your daughter with the whole fitting in. I hope
Hmm.
you convey that she does have a family that loves her, you
Right.
know, and that even though she may not fit in school, she has, her cousins, she has her
Hmm.
brothers. I feel like I hope she feels accepted in her household
Yeah.
because school sucks, but whatever, you get over it. And then you go to work, and that sucks too because you're like, oh my god, the clicks are still here.
Hmm.
And then wherever you go, there's always going to be the clicks. It's just like you got to
Yeah.
find the click that clicks with you. Oh, that's cool. The click
I
that
told her,
clicks with you.
I was like, Virgo, you have to like, let your weird shine bright and the other weirdos will find you. She's like, I'm not weird.
Yes, yes, and that's why. No, you got to
She was
embrace your
like, I'm
weirdness.
not weird. I was like, okay.
No, you got to embrace your weirdness. I know Ma did, and I've learned that from a very young age, growing up with Ma. Ma, I love you, but Ma has no filter.
Hmm.
She'll say whatever comes to her head. She doesn't understand that social awkwardness, and I love it. I'm like, man, I wish I could be that brave to just say what's on my mind
Right.
sometimes, because sometimes I'm like, let me bite my tongue, right? So it's I love it. I love it, and I think you really should stress like it's okay to be weird,
Hmm.
because once again, weird has a negative connotation.
Right.
When if you think about the weirdos in society who made it, like Elon Musk is weird. That's a
Hmm.
weirdo. And he made it. He embraces weird. He's like, I love being weird. So I think you should keep saying that. Like, look, no, no. Like, look at all these people who are like, now fandom is starting to take center stage, right? Where
Hmm.
it's like, oh, I'm a fan of Star Wars, or I'm a fan of anime, or I'm a fan of this, or I'm a fan of that. Where back in
Hmm.
the day, people were like a fan of something, but they would kind of be ashamed of it.
Yeah.
And where now you see like all these cons coming out, like Minecraft con, all this stuff. And I'm like, yo, I love that I can go and help my kids embrace the things they love and show
Yeah.
that there's other people like that that love that. You know, I have a child who loves Pokemon. I
Hmm.
was like, yo, let's go to a Pokemon tournament. Let's
Hmm.
go. I was all down for that. You know, another kid who loves Minecraft, and I took him to the Minecraft con, right? It's
Hmm.
going and like you said, showing the people who are like you.
Yeah.
So then you could be like, man, I thought that was weird, but it's not. There's other people that like it, and that's kind of cool. Ray, don't see the new David Cronenberg movie out this week called Crimes of the Future. Oh no. Why? Why, Fuzz? Oh, actually, Fuzz, I saw the you recommended The Outfit. That was a good movie. That was a very good movie, and um oh, I got distracted by the comment. I lost my chain of
Sorry.
thought. It was a very good movie, and it ties into this whole talk about evil and manipulation. The guy in that movie was a great liar, but he used his ability to lie in a good way. So I thank you, Fuzz. That it all ties in. Everything all ties in. I'm telling you, the universe works in mysterious ways on how everything just ties in. I can watch a movie and then bring it back. I saw Depp in Minamata recently. The movie is about mutant babies in Japan because of the water was polluted. Really? Was it a good movie? That sounds interesting. Mutating babies? Then, if you were a mutant, what power would you want?
Um, I have never been able to decide what power I want. I know what powers I don't want.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Powers you
I
don't
don't want to
want.
be able to fly. I don't want to be able to fly
No?
because I feel like if I'm like flying and then my power just goes away someday, like boom, I'm dead. I don't like that.
I think you're check your mic, Lynn. I think your mic went out. Test, test.
Oh no.
I would think, but see, I would think you would want the power of flying because you like to travel. So you could just fly and save money on,
Right.
on airfare.
But what if like my power leaves just as quickly as it came and like I'm just in flight and it's like crashing to my death.
Lynn, I like
Oh,
your
thank you.
color, body, golden color.
Justin likes my complexion.
Yo, we do. Listen. We've been getting our tans on. I'm liking this.
We
I'm like,
have
shit, we're
been.
getting our tans on. All
Yo,
right.
come
We've been
August,
out and
you're not
about.
even gonna recognize us.
Yeah, I know. You get so much
Because
darker.
spring is just now hitting over here.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. My kids, man. Like me, I still got like the white tone. I just look, this is probably as dark as I'm gonna get. But my
Uh-huh.
kids, man, they get dark. I'm like, who kid? Who are you? I was like double check. Like,
I
damn, they
I
got
met
kids.
somebody in like the summertime and by winter he was like, "Oh, you like lied to me. You were so dark. Like who are you now in like January?"
Hey, Joseph, what's how do you say
Justin?
Justin Valor,
Justin.
Justin
I'm
Valor.
going with Justin.
Hey, I see you showing her a lot of hearts. You liking on Lynn? Shoot your shot. She's open. She's trying to. We're gonna do a spinoff, Lynn's dating show. We're gonna do another spinoff.
Oh man, that'd be a
Like
novela.
I think you need to go to the Bachelorette, right? Because
Oh
they have the
geez.
Bachelor and they have the Bachelorette show when you date
Uh-huh.
all these guys and they come with the rose and all that. Because you like drama, so you could be on that show. And then
I
you'll have you.
don't like drama. Drama just finds me.
Please, you look for it. You got that dark side. You want that. Oh man. Yeah, so I don't know, my mutant powers, like for the longest time, I loved Wolverine. And I was like, yo,
Hmm.
that'd be so dope. But then I'm like, I started as an adult, I started analyzing like how could I use that as a potential to like make money in this world?
Hmm.
And I'm like, I'll just be a killing machine. I don't want to be that. Like claws and I can heal myself. Like I know. It's like so then as
Would
I've
you be a
gotten
hired
older,
hitman?
yeah, exactly. That's what my life would be. I'd be a higher hitman. Like a merc. I don't want to be that. So I was like, you know what would be a really cool power? Be Batman or Iron Man. Because either one of those guys, they're billionaires. I was like, shit, I'll be filthy rich. It's like my power is my brain. Or invisibility, where I could just rob a bank.
Hmm.
But then I had the law after me, like, hey, right now,
I thought about
taking money shot.
visibility, invisibility. I was like, you know what? Maybe I would consider like the power to be able to like grow things and like heal.
That's cool.
Not so much like heal myself, but to heal others. That'd be pretty
That's
cool.
cool. You'll be a great doctor.
Yeah.
And then you get, oh my God, you could do the surgery, and it's like it's just your powers. So you're sought out by all these like rich people. Like, oh, heal me, I don't want to die.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
but
Next thing I know, I'm gonna have a bag over my head, being kidnapped for my healing powers.
you know what scares me about the power of invisibility though is like human nature and that evilness inside you will make you abuse that power.
Hmm.
Like you, for example, you're in a relationship, you're dating some guy, and you think he's cheating on you. Once you turn invisible to go spy on his ass,
Follow him.
it's like, no, I'm misusing my powers now. Fuzz
It's up
said my
top.
mutant power is to like Beastmaster with Mark Singer. I don't. I'm missing that one. Lynn, you read it. I mean, I misread it. Oh, is that a bad movie? Is that your power to like bad
The
movies?
mutant power is.
Like you become
Yeah,
a
I don't
fan
know.
of bad movies,
I
Fuzz.
feel like I have to Google it.
Like I my superpowers is like I like B movies, and I think they're the greatest thing ever. There's people out there that just love cheesy movies, Fuzz. It's okay to like Fuzz. Listen, the Sharknado movies are out there.
I
Listen,
remember those.
sci-fi
Those are pretty
thrives
good
off
though.
of like B
I
movies,
mean,
man.
awful, but pretty good.
There was a company that made it off of B movies. Like, have you ever heard like the Toxic Crusader
Oh, it
and
controls
all those?
animals.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. My youngest loves. It was like he wanted that power, and I asked him. He was like, I want to be able to talk to animals. I love animals.
Oh, it's exactly what he
Imagine
said. Imagine
Tarzan speaking to
Tarzan.
animals. Once again, I'm like, yo, how can you make money off of that? I guess you could have like a circus or something, but then all the
I guess
animal
you wouldn't
rights
need money
activists
because you
shut
could
you
just have
down.
like an army of monkeys go steal all your food and stuff.
Like Yogi Bear. Hey, boo boo,
Right? Who's
I'm
gonna
going for
stop
the
a
picnic
bear walking
basket.
into Target? Like,
Yeah. I know. You know what the business could be is that you send animals to people's houses and then they call you as animal control, and
hmm.
you're like, yo, yeah, get out of here. Or you could train like dogs. You could be like, listen, why are you acting up? Do the trick and you get the food. It's hilarious. King of the jungle. Yeah, but you as the king of the jungle, you have to live in the jungle. So are you like naturally like a nature boy, Fuzz? You're in the city. Like you want to live in nature. Like you gonna be in a treehouse, swinging vine from vine like Tarzan.
I wonder. I wonder if you would miss the city. Like, if you were just like yanked out, boom, you're in the woods. Would you miss the city?
I don't think so because he's
You
always
know what's
he hates
crazy
the
is
city.
I sleep so well when I'm in the city.
Do
Like, I
you
sleep
with all the
straight,
noise and
like
everything?
all like the noise. Like, I lived by a train once, and like I don't mind that background noise. And I was thinking about it. Could it be because I spent my first year in the city? Like, that was just kind
No,
of like I'm used to those sounds.
I get what you're talking about because like I have a hard time sleeping here when it's like super quiet.
Mhm.
Like in the summertime, I sleep better in the summer because the AC is running. It's so damn loud.
Mm.
So
But
I
even
get what
like
you're
the
talking about.
crickets, they kind of skeeve me out. They're creepy.
Yeah, but at least it's life. At least it's noise. You know what creeps me out is when it's quiet and you're just like, I'm all alone.
Let's go
I
live in
could
the
live in
city
the
and
city
control
and
all
control all
the
the rats.
rats. What?
Like
You'll
Ratatouille,
have
but in
total
reverse.
control. You know how many people are afraid of rats?
That no, he'll be like in Suicide Squad where he controlled all the rats. Yeah, I hate
Dogs.
skunks
Have
too.
you seen a skunk in the city?
I was talking to my kids and I was like, God must have a real like a great sense of humor because when he's
Hmm.
like making all these animals, like he made seagulls to be like like the jokester, like just laughing because seagulls just sound like they're laughing. Or like when they like, next time you go to the beach, listen to the seagulls. They just sound like they're laughing.
That's
And I, and
hilarious.
I
Okay.
and I told my kids the reason why he did that was because he knew people would be sad, and some people would come to the beach to like try to like drown themselves, and then they'll hear the birds, and the birds are laughing, and then they'll be like, yeah, you're right, I can't take life too serious, and they'll start laughing, and maybe they'll decide to not do what they're about to do. That's me being optimistic.
Okay.
Unless if somebody's like, oh, the world hates me, why the world hates me, and then the bird starts laughing, oh, you too, you're laughing at me too. Oh, I gotta end it all. I don't know. But then I was like, man, God has a crazy sense of humor because he was like, look, he gave all these like the porcupine, all the porcupine, you're gonna have spikes, right?
Hmm.
And like the bear, you have the ability, you're big, you're strong, you can maul. And then like the skunk, he's like, what's gonna be your powers, to protect yourself? You have the scent, you have the power of stench. You're gonna affect people by their nose. It's like, it's it's like I don't want. Please, if reincarnation is true, I don't want to be reincarnated as a skunk or an ant because I hate ants. They're the
I had
worst.
this thought the other day, and I thought it was hilarious. It was a high thought, of course, but
Uh huh.
I was thinking like, what if in a past life I was a squirrel?
Chasing after
Because
nuts.
like I eat very small portions, and like it takes me a long time to eat something. Like I'm a very slow eater, and like I'll save it and I'll take a few more bites later, and then like a few hours later I'll finish it. And I was
So
just like thinking, what if in a past life I was a squirrel?
you definitely was a chipmunk that was hoarding food in his mouth.
I
You had a fat
don't know,
tooth.
man. I don't know. I'm just thinking like one of those little rodent kind of animals that like scurry around and they gather food.
Shit. So in my past life, I must have been a
It's like
bear.
not as funny right now. It was really funny when I first had the thought.
Because as a bear, I mean, all winter long, you saw me this past winter. I was
Hmm.
just like, oh, I don't want to do shit. I'm in hibernation. And then the spring hits and I'm out there like, yeah, it's feeling great now. Oh, you went to Nemo? Oh, sweet. I have a buddy who went to Nemo.
Oh, so you're
Military
familiar with
Academy.
the sticks
Yeah.
over in Cornwall on the Hudson. That's actually
I look it.
where the nonprofit is based out of, Cornwall on the Hudson.
Yeah. Yeah, it's out there. It's like now it's a short drive from the city
Hmm.
for reference, New York City, right? It's a short drive. And
Yeah.
it's not as country as me. It's more of a suburban area. I'm really in the sticks.
I mean, driving to it, it's very country.
For the most part, yeah, the roads, yeah, you could take
Yeah.
whichever roads you take. Was it Bear Mountain Expressway?
But once you
That's
get
all.
there, it's like, oh, civilization, just a smaller version.
Yeah, it's a smaller town, smaller city.
Yeah.
Uh, all you see is this. It's like houses and then trees.
So it's the
Mm.
Thursday show. What plans do you have going into the weekend?
There's a birthday this weekend.
Okay.
So I might go do a day trip tomorrow with the boys.
That's fun.
So we'll see. I don't know. I'll be spontaneous.
Hmm.
That's what I noticed. Like I feel like the more I get older, the more I just want to do spontaneous things than actually making plans. Because when you
Hmm.
make plans, which people are like, "Oh, make plans and schedule this and do that," it's like then you start stressing about that. Then you start stressing about your plans. Where it's just like, yeah, let's just go to this. Like on Monday, um, I was just like, "Yo, let's go to the lake," and I went to the
Hmm.
lake, and we were at the lake all day Monday. It was great.
Nice.
It's like carefree. Don't have no worries in the world. Just enjoy the day. I heard you were at a water park. How was that?
Was. I went to a water park 2 days in a row. We're basically gonna live there all summer because I got
You
a
got the season pass?
season
I
passes.
figured that much because I was like, man, this is very expensive for you guys to keep inviting me.
Yeah, no, no, no. And you know what? I buy them. I'm on like their email list. I get them for Black Friday. They have a special.
Oh, really?
So I get like their expensive pass at like a cheaper price than their regular pass. And I go every year. They've actually
Did
been closed
you?
for 2 summers. The one summer they kept pushing back their start date, and then the summer before that they closed completely. They just had no plans of opening. So they've been closed for 2 summers, and we went back. Let me tell you, those rides are like violent now. Like they are quick. Oh my God, they're so fun. You definitely, if you want to go back there, you got to go now before like the rides get all like used up again. I feel like after a while, like it builds up friction or something and the rides start going slower.
What, the water slide?
Yeah, like the slides and stuff because they've been
Ew!
unused
What
for
kind of
two
friction are
years.
you going down on after
Because
a
they've been
while?
unused for 2 years, like everything is
Ew!
super slick.
Mildew, skin
There's no
cells.
buildup
Ew!
of
That's
like
what's slowing you
everybody's
down.
sunscreen and all that crap that gets on the
Ooh,
slides. Like, come on, think
that's
about it.
nasty. I don't want to go down to any of that. That's why I'm a lazy river type of guy. It's funny because I'll do all that stuff with my kids, right? All those rides and all those, like, they
Mhm.
love it. Especially when you gave us the pass last year for SeaWorld and we're going to
Yeah.
all those water parks. Oh, I was going through like the four tubes, the double tube, all that stuff with them. But then after a
Yep.
while, I'm like, all right, guys, you can keep doing that if you want, but I just want to go to the lazy river and just
Mhm.
chill in the lazy river. Now, my new joint is the lazy river with the rapids.
Yes.
Not so
Okay.
lazy river. Those are fun. That you get taken away in the rapids. Like, oh shit.
You know what? I haven't had one with rapids, but I have had one with like waves. It's almost like a wave pool inside the lazy river. So like your tube is like going everywhere. It's like, whoa. It's fun.
No, there's one. There's I forgot the name of the water park that's out by SeaWorld. Oh, it's starting to rain. There's the water park by SeaWorld, but their lazy river, like you literally you see the rapids going, and you got to put on a life vest. And like as soon as you like, it's hard to get out of it. Like I've helped people try to get out as
Uh-huh.
we're trying to get in, and then once you get in, you just let you see, oh, the life raft takes you, and it does the loop de loop.
That sounds pretty cool.
Oh, it's dope. It's dope. I hope like more water parks start doing that.
Gotcha. We
Did you
also
get the?
went on a hike last weekend. We went to see a waterfall over by I think it's like Minnewaska State Park or something like that. There's like a trail. It's a really short trail. And there's a beautiful waterfall. So we got to take you guys there one of these days.
Nice. Yeah, we got to do some stuff like that more
Hmm.
with the kids. Get more in tune with nature. Like I keep saying that. I keep hammering that home. I feel like as society, as we get more connected with technology, we
Hmm.
get less connected with nature.
Right.
And then we get to this like sense of arrogance as humans, like we don't need nature when we have to have that symbolic balance with nature.
Yes.
I mean everything. We eat animals, we eat plants, right? We use, oxygen from the trees. It's like we
Hmm.
gotta have that sense of balance. And I feel like a lot of people they lost that connection. That's why I keep telling Fuzz all the time, like Fuzz, go out to the city. I know you live in the city, but go out to the parks, clean park because don't go to any of the needle fill parks, nothing like that. Go to a nice clean park and hug a tree. Sit there and talk to a tree. Just enjoy your day. Let the tree, take your stress away.
Yo, I wonder if our friend is back. The one who has his rock stone.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because we got a couple of people watching.
Eh?
We got a few people watching today. We got some extra
Look,
viewers today. That's good.
however you have to, go through life in order to maintain your sanity, man, do it.
That's why I said,
Do it.
look, embrace the weird. It's okay to
Hmm.
be weird. It's okay to talk to yourself. Talk to yourself. Have that inner monologue. Just have it
Yep.
out loud. I feel like a lot of people are so worried about fitting in and are so worried about, what other people think that they get lost of themselves and
Hmm.
then they get trapped in all this vicious all this viciousness.
Hmm.
And once again, it's because you're following, evil people.
Yeah.
Like let's change that. Let's change that. But yeah. So
It's crazy. Like now as an adult, something I struggle with like in my adult life is like I feel like I've created like a speech impediment for myself where I tend to like get caught up on my words, like I trip over my words. And I feel like it stems from me being in a period of my life where I was afraid to
speak.
verbalize my thoughts.
Hmm.
So like in the tail end of it, I mean, it's been a couple of years since I was in anything crazy, but still, like in my mind, I have these restrictions, these things holding me back, these things that
Hmm.
were put there by outside sources, by the evil in other people, and it's something that I continue to work towards.
You know, it's crazy that you mentioned that because I had that too at work. Like every time I
Hmm.
would be put in front of my peers at work, I would end up stuttering or I would just get really nervous. And that was
Hmm.
because of myself, just the whole sense of insecurity and low self esteem of like just failing, right? Oh, I'm gonna
Hmm.
fail this talk, or I'm gonna fail this meeting, or I'm just gonna fail. I'm not gonna say what needs to be said.
Right.
And like I would notice that like my brain would be going faster than my mouth
Then
and
my
my
lips,
words.
my lips can't move that
Yeah.
fast.
Now it's just like we're talking on here all the time, and it's just like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I would do public speaking now. Like I like technically we're public speaking, but there's nobody really around. It's just me talking to you. Yes, I agree. I agree, Fuzz. I agree nowadays, but you could still have that monologue and still talk either to yourself or to a tree, right? You could still have
Hmm.
those conversations. I get it. And that's what this show is all about. We're trying to empower people to talk against the narrative because that's how we have discourse in this day and age. It's like we
Yeah.
ought to be able to say, there's a topic, there are some people who agree, and there's some people who disagree. It's okay to disagree. Like we gotta have that internal conversation
Yeah.
and the internal and external. Like it shouldn't just be inside. Like I disagree with all this, but I'm not gonna speak up because I'm gonna get attacked or I'm gonna get called out or all that. No, I think look, listen. When this show picks up, I know we're gonna get attacked. I know I'm gonna get attacked because I think differently.
Hmm.
I'm sorry. I'm just the way I'm programmed. Especially then you too, Lynn. You're gonna get attacked because you're gonna go against a lot of things people
Hmm.
that a woman, oh, how a woman should think or how a woman should act and all this stuff. It's like, no, I'm gonna have listen. Ma raised us, and I told you, Ma has no filter.
None.
I'm striving as I get older. I'm striving to that. I want to be that. I'm gonna be like, yo, I want to be able to say anything I want, like how Ma does. That's awesome. It's awesome. So, in closing, before we go, I'm curious. I know we had this conversation last week when we were offline as far as how to grow the show. And I'm
Hmm.
curious if anybody else can have a suggestion. So we'll talk about it. I think we said we were going to change, I guess, some of the
Our
search terms.
SEO, like our tags
Right.
and the kind of audience that we're trying to draw in.
So we
So that's
said,
what I've been working on. I've been working like behind the scenes and trying to kind of like give us a new direction without
right.
giving us a new direction because we're not changing the show. We're just trying to change, like, we're trying to tap into this algorithm, man. Like,
Yeah.
we want to have these conversations with more people. We want more people to tune in and, be able to say their opinions. And you know what? Talk
Hmm.
shit with Ray. Get him going. I love getting Ray going. Get him going.
And and what I noticed too is like it. I checked the algorithm, and most of our viewers are watching it, tuning in for like 20 minutes.
Hmm.
So I'm like, man, we're engaging with people for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Like, I think and I told Lynn this last week. I was like, I think we just need to see whatever the top 10 like search terms are and just put that in there. So then we're gravitating towards those people because we're talking about everything, anything that is going on in pop culture, um, which is crazy because I just recently heard somebody said it. I don't know if it was on Twitter or one of the channels I was watching, but they said
Hmm.
that politics has now become pop culture, which is
Mm,
100% true. Like politics is not politics anymore. It is
right.
mainstream. It is part of our conversations. It's part of everything now. Like you see it
Mhm.
in pop culture, you see it everywhere. So we talk about politics, we talk about anything. I don't think there's nothing off topic for this
Right.
channel. We might have to dance around it because we know the platform we're on, YouTube, right? But I think we should be able to talk about everything.
Yeah. I tell my kids all the time, like the hardest conversations to have are the most important ones. Those are the ones that
Exactly.
really need to be had.
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly. It's going back to everything we talked about today. We talked about a lot of sensitive topics today,
Mhm.
but I hope that we were able to touch on, how those topics are being manipulated
Yeah.
or how those topics, you know, actions of evil people cause a reaction in society, you know? So But with that said, I don't have anything else, Lynn. If you want to close this out.
Yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you have a great weekend. Um, yeah, that's all. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thank you so much for tuning
Hopefully,
in.
hopefully it's not a 4-day weekend again. So hopefully Lynn will be on Tuesday.
Yo, on Tuesday, it's so embarrassing. So I definitely woke up Tuesday, sent my kids off to school, and I was like, woohoo, Monday. I don't have to do shit. And then next thing I know, I was like sitting on my couch. I was like dozing and out of sleep. I was like binge watching TV, which was really watching me. And I was like, oh crap, it's Tuesday. And then Ray was all mad at me. He's like, you don't want to do the show anymore. I was like, no,
I
I thought
wasn't
it was
mad. She
Monday.
was like, "You could have reached out to me." I was like, "Look, I'm not gonna reach out to you if I feel like," which I do kind of feel like Lynn is kind of in between, and I get it. I get it. It's like you're putting your time and effort into this show, and she doesn't see the growth. I get it, 100%. But I'm not gonna go and like chase after you if you're not, if your heart is not in the show.
Mhm.
So that's where I want you to be
You
because
should
I
have just
feel
gone
like
live without me. I would have gotten a notification like boop
I
boop.
thought about that too, but I was like, how do I do this? Because I was like, she's using StreamYard.
I would have been in the comments like, what? Where's Lynn?
Like when you were like, "Where's Ray?" Maybe next time, maybe I'll do that. I'll be like, "Yo, where's Lynn?" And just have the show with Fuzz. Oh, you
It would
know
have just
what?
been
See
you
what
and the
we did?
producer.
We gotta drop the link in the comments. We don't ever do that. We gotta drop them to see if people want to come
Oh,
on
we didn't do
board,
it this time.
have a conversation. Like, look, I'm ready for the time when people get on here and start like going off on me
Right.
because I think differently. Yeah,
100 hours
exactly.
a week.
Right, right. And so
Jeez.
that's why like Lynn, honestly, the way I changed my perspective on this whole show is like, look, I like getting on here. I like
Mhm.
getting on here. I like talking with you. I like talking with us. I like talking about the issues. It's kind of like my outlet too, right? To just kind of just express myself and just say, hey, look, this is craziness that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
It's like when you turn this into a passion that you like talking about it and you miss not talking about, then you don't worry about all the rest. I mean, we hope, we're optimistic that we'll tap into those numbers, but you know what? I just like coming on here and talking. I like ranting. It gives me a like great. I just hope we don't get any more strikes. Like we're getting strikes before we even started.
Right.
Yes, Fuzz, you're 100% right, and that's why you can't get demoralized. Like, just gotta
Hmm.
come out here and just do our thing. We just gotta keep doing our thing. Do it for Fuzz. He supports us. Fuzz, we love you. I love you, brother.
All right,
On that
guys.
note,
Yep. We
have
are
a great
out.
weekend.
Peace. Have a great weekend. Viral. You basically need to viral 24/7 to grow on YouTube. What?
He's right. He's
No.
right.
So you know what? I'm not trying to like, you know what, my goal isn't like, oh my God, millions of people. Like I just want a bigger group than we have right now, doing exactly what it is that we're doing.
It's you know what's funny? It's funny is that you are like you want to see the growth, and I just saw like we lost a subscriber. I'm like, why did they leave? Like I'm so heartbroken that we lost a subscriber. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
no, why? Why did we lose somebody? What did we say? I think it might have been Tris. Did we lose Tris?
I know he hasn't been on.
I
We
think
gotta
we might have
find
lost
out.
Tris.
I mean, not that we have to find out, but we'll notice. We'll notice.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll pop in.
But
All
yeah, no,
right.
he's right. He's right. We gotta if you really want those numbers, Lynn, you gotta be on Twitter promoting the show. You gotta be
Hmm.
engaging on like it's not just here on YouTube, it's everywhere else.
Right.
So I'm not really about that. I just like having a venue, and hopefully we find like-minded people and grow that way. Like I want that organic growth because I think that's where we'll find the people who are like,
Hmm.
man, you're saying something that I've been feeling, and I can rock with this. And then we
Right.
empower them to keep that message going. You know, that's the way I see it. Like I'm optimistic in the sense that it'll come because I know we're doing something different than what everybody else is doing on YouTube.
Mm.
So stay positive. Practice what you preach.
Yeah.
Our Muppet face.
All right, guys. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for tuning in, and we shall see you next time.
Peace.